house. Since 2007, our veteran-led team has earned hundreds of 5-star reviews by doing exactly that, listening first, and treating every family with respect. If you're ready for a no-obligation conversation, call us at 630-895-9530. That's 630-895-9530 or jeffbuysyourhouse.com. That's jeffbuysyourhouse.com.
Hey, this is Sean Thompson. You know, most of us spend our entire lives in the paycheck mode. You work, you get 30% taken from the G, you pay your bills, repeat and rinse. And that's how time goes by. Then all of a sudden you're old. Retirement hits. Suddenly, you're the one who has to figure out your paycheck that isn't there anymore. Markets are bumpy, prices are up, things can get stressful real fast. That's why having a real income plan matters. Tom Fortino and the team at Alpha Wealth Group can help you build a strategy to turn your hard-earned savings into a reliable retirement income. They coordinate with your Social Security and your tax planning, so you can stop wondering if you're withdrawing the right amount at the right time. Tom Fortino and the people of Alpha Wealth Group have been doing this for 30 years. They can help you by giving you a complimentary retirement roadmap. And all you have to do is call 630-864-6711. That's 630-864-6711 or online at alphawealthgroup.com.
It's almost time once again for the annual AM 560 Golf Outing, presented by Signature Bank. AM 560 is proud to partner with the Tunnel to Towers Foundation to help them support America's first responder and military heroes, to help America never forget 9/11. This year, our golf outing is happening on Monday, June 15th at McRae Memorial Golf Club in Barrington. When you purchase a foursome to join us, you'll enjoy a full day of golf, meals, an awards reception, and a silent auction. And if you're a business owner, when you purchase a foursome, you'll also receive an AM 560 marketing campaign, which includes 25 one-minute commercials to air on AM 560 Monday through Friday between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. and a free digital marketing analysis. Reserve your foursome today at 560theanswer.com/golf. That's 560theanswer.com/golf. Sponsored in part by Edward Jones Financial Advisor Nolan Webster and by real estate broker Ed Dring at leavingil.com. Now, your official weather forecast.
Today, expect a mix of sun and clouds with increasing cloud cover later on. It'll be breezy and humid with a chance of a thunderstorm in the early afternoon. These thunderstorms may bring hail and damaging winds. The high temperature will reach 79 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here. And so Trump's reckoning continues. In part, Trump's, in part, I think, the people's. I'm talking about Dr. Bill Cassidy, the Republican senator not named John Kennedy from Louisiana, who got bounced over the weekend in the Louisiana Republican Senate primary. In fact, he got bounced, he got trounced. Julia Letlow, who was Trump's endorsed candidate, was the top vote getter by a pretty significant margin. And so advancing to the runoff will be, she'll be advancing to the runoff and is likely to win that race. She is on record as being a supporter of both the Save America Act as well as nuking the filibuster, something that Bill Cassidy was not. He was widely believed to be one of the holdouts on both scores, effectively, even as he did the same thing. You saw you're seeing, actually still happening, other Trump adversaries within the Republican ranks do, which is sort of play up his relationship with Trump once his political viability was on the line. You see John Cornyn doing the same thing in Texas, probably to a similar end, it would seem to me. 312-642-5600 is the alphawealthgroup.com answer line and text line. Bill Cassidy, he gone. And tomorrow, Tom Massie, so you go from Cassidy to Massie, Tom Massie in Kentucky has been targeted for elimination by Trump and his allies. But before we get to him, though, here was Bill Cassidy's, in pertinent part, Bill Cassidy's concession speech, sort of a a shot across the bow, parting shot across the bow of one President Trump.
This was not the result that I necessarily wanted, but I feel great. When you participate in democracy, sometimes it doesn't turn out the way you want it to. But you don't pout, you don't whine, you don't claim the election was stolen, you don't find a reason why. You don't manufacture some excuse. You thank the voters for the privilege of representing the state or the country for as long as you've had that privilege.
Yeah, that's all well and good. Now, remember, Cassie was also an impeachment vote, or one of the Republican senators who voted to impeach Trump, impeachment 2.0. So that was not forgotten, as one might imagine. But just the whole 2020 deal, and to suggest that Trump was ungrateful. I don't know that he was ungrateful. He didn't put together the legal team that was necessary to put forward a credible case that could make its way through court, that would gather the necessary evidence to make a compelling argument so you could really zero in on things. And I'm not saying it's easy to do. The Department of Justice under Trump 2.0, of course, has an ongoing investigation. Actually, Todd Blanche, the acting AG, spoke with Maria Bartiromo about it on her program yesterday. Active investigation in places like Georgia and Arizona. You remember the FBI raid of the Fulton County Commissioner's Office. Active investigations that relate to 2020. Oh, and it's just as an aside, Brad Raffensperger, another one of Trump's adversaries because of the way he misconstrued that phone call between himself and Trump, and as everybody forgets, purposely, at least inside the D.C. press corps, Trump's election attorneys, like our friend Cleta Mitchell, find the votes, complete mischaracterization, purposeful mischaracterization of that conversation. Brad Raffensperger is running in the Republican primary for governor, and he'll also be gone from public office tomorrow because he is running a distant third in that primary race. But anyway, Todd Blanche, I mean, just to Bill Cassidy's point, as like this, there's no foundation for even an inquiry into this. Well, that's not what Todd Blanche thinks, and that's why the Department of Justice is doing what they're doing, not at the pace anybody would really likes, but it's still ongoing, so he says.
Ton of evidence that the election was rigged. That's not something the DOJ needs to tell you about. There's been evidence about that for many, many years. What I can tell you is that we have multiple investigations going on in Arizona, in Georgia, in Fulton County, Georgia, and that's exactly what we're looking at. By the way, this is very difficult because they're very good. They're very good at hiding up misconduct and hiding what they're doing. And so that's why we're very focused on finding out whether the right people voted, whether people who were supposed to vote voted, whether there was one vote cast per voter. And that's what we're doing in multiple states. And I expect, and again, people, you'll say to me, how long has it taken? Why is it taking so long? And the reality, the answer to that is because it takes a lot of work to uncover what happened in 2020. It takes a lot of old, good old-fashioned law enforcement police work, which is what we're doing, and we have great prosecutors working on it as well. And I expect that, and I assure the American people that as soon as we have something to say for it, whether it's charges, whether it's a report, whether it's the results of an investigation, the American people will learn about what we've uncovered.
Yeah. Well, chop, of course, but the point is that to suggest there were no legitimate areas of inquiry as to how the 2020 elections were administered in certain states is to be willfully blind. And that's what Bill Cassidy was being there on his way out the door. So, frankly, I think he's an intelligent guy, and he made some good points about Obamacare and its repeal and replacement. But he's another guy, like we talked about with the Indiana State Senate Republicans who lost in their primaries. He's another guy that can't read a room. The American people over the last 10 years have wanted the Republicans they send to substantiate the revolt they want. And if you're not going to do that, then we'll replace you. That's really the message. I mean, yes, it's about Trump because Trump is the most obvious vehicle for that popular revolt against the established order. And we're seeing it play out even over the weekend. both here and in the UK, the United Kingdom rally, which we'll get to a little bit later, as well as the Rededicate 250 prayer rally on the Mall. This is ongoing because it hasn't been fully consummated, because there haven't been the reckonings for bad actors on the other side that are demanded. So the next best thing that Trump can do is impose discipline within Republican ranks and use his power and standing within the base to do so. And that's what he's done. That's what he's contributed to. I think Bill Cassidy, Thomas Massie, if he loses tomorrow, those Indiana Senate Republicans, they mightily contributed to their political demise as well. Corey in Woodlawn, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, thanks for taking the call, Dan. You know, these guys are not good. This theft is right out in the open. Shirley found it in minutes. Anyone looking can find it in minutes. They're not good at hiding anything. But the Republicans are. They're very good at looking the other way. And I hope these investigations aren't like the Durham investigations that went absolutely nowhere. Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Corey. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Let me give you the counterexample. For people who think, oh, Trump shouldn't be involved. He shouldn't be doing this. It's causing acrimony. A functioning, successful political party is one that has some internal mechanism for discipline. And that's in part what primary elections are for. This is the kind of Republican Party we want. These are the kind of candidates we want that represent a certain policy vision we would like to see achieved. That's fair. Even if you disagree with it, that's a fair fight. That's what primaries should be about. Yeah, is there a personal nature to this? Yeah, but the personal nature is based on policy disagreements and differences in approach to politics, frankly, vis-a-vis the left. And so Thomas Massie, as the Wall Street Journal profile on the race offered over the weekend, Thomas Massie's lonely and expensive fight against Trump. Yeah, well, it's the one he chose. He knew going in. So most expensive Republican primary, congressional primary in history thus far. And Trump's not done there. He posted on Truth Social over the weekend. Word is that Rand Paul and Lauren Boebert, two very difficult and highly unreasonable Republican votes, are now in the great Commonwealth of Kentucky, which I won by 31 points, parading around like fools for the worst Republican congressman in the history of our party. His name is Thomas Massie. I don't think he's the worst, but he is a disloyal, ungracious, and sanctimonious fool who almost never votes for even the best of Republican values. The man running against Massie, Al Galrain, is a true American patriot, farmer from Kentucky, military hero. He's Navy SEAL, I believe. Loyal and MAG all the way, vote for Ed Gallerin. He also went on to say about Boebert, is anyone interested in running against weak-minded Lauren Boebert in Colorado's 4th Congressional District? You remember Lauren moved into the district when it became obvious that she couldn't win in her original district. A carpetbagger, indeed. Boebert is campaigning for the worst Republican congressman in the history of our country, Thomas Massie, and anybody who can be that dumb deserves a good primary fight. Even though I long ago endorsed Boebert, if the right person came along, it would be my honor to withdraw the endorsement and endorse a good and proper alternative. You know, we're with the Calais decision and the remapping that's going on and the population shifts towards red states in the southeast and southwest and the margin of error shrinking for Democrats, especially with an eye towards the formal redistricting post-2030 census. Yeah, it's okay to go after the placeholders, people just occupying space, or people that have sort of no impulse control, people that exercise bad judgment. That's what we have in Illinois. That's why Republicans in Illinois are in the super minority, because the only person who ever really tried to do that in modern memory was me. Not party leadership. It was when we set up and people supported, it wasn't just me, but people supported PACs to primary these feckless, quisling Republicans who vote for the other side's agenda all the time, like tax increases or sanctuary state legislation or expanded Medicaid coverage of abortion. That was back in George Ryan. Been happening for a long time. The party in Illinois got destroyed from within, and what I see Trump doing, even if I don't always agree with the way he does it or the particular choices in particular races, what I see him doing is saying, we're an America First party, and if you're not on the America First bandwagon, if you're not on the America First team, basically, then we're going to find people in your district, in safe Republican districts, who are. And there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, as I said, that's what functioning parties should do. Do. Interesting, by the way, Thomas Massie, libertarian, and in many cases, that's just a way station to leftism. If there's no sort of religious foundation, see that happen all the time. A lot of people over at Reason are that way. But Thomas Massie didn't say this was a referendum on Trump when he was on with a leftist podcast, Midas Touch. He said it's a referendum on something else.
Exactly. Let's do it. Okay, I'm walking to an airplane to rejoin the most expensive congressional race in U.S. history.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, it's a referendum, really. Unfortunately, it's turned into whether Israel gets to buy seats in Congress. And what they found out is that my seats are really expensive. They've probably, when this is over, will have spent $20 million and come up short.
So why is Israel the only country that gets to buy elections in the United States? Or does any other country get to? Is this
I've never seen Great Britain or Australia or even Germany play in our elections here in the United States. But Israel gets so much from the United States. It's a one-sided relationship. They get us to be their proxies in wars that they want against their enemies. They get our military assistance, they get our technology, they get our bombs, they get our tax dollars. And I think it's a very one-sided relationship. At least with NATO, we pretend that they would come to our aid someday if we needed it. And even that's a ruse.
Yeah. So,
yeah, that's asinine is what that is. That is without basis in reality. That is... to be generous, it's neo-isolationist claptrap. First of all, last week, Tom Massie may want to update his understanding of the world. Last week, you had Bibi Netanyahu say, I want to wean Israel off of U.S. aid. I don't want any we don't want any more foreign aid from the United States. We need to stand on our own 2 feet. So that's the direction that's going. The whole Israel lobby, Israel buying seats, and that's part of what he's saying here because of statements like that, you have AIPAC and other interests that are supporting Gel Rain, his opponent, and opposing Massie. Hardly the only groups that have come to the table in support of the president in opposition to Thomas Massie. So, it's just silliness that comes from Tom Massie's mouth on that topic. It's not a referendum on whether Israel can, quote unquote, buy seats in Congress. That's not what this race is. It's a referendum on America First, and it's a referendum on will you put in the fight when it's required? Will you stand up or will you stand down? Will you do what it takes? Will you take risks, put your own political future on the line to do what you said you would do and what we want to see done when we elected you, what we thought we were getting? Will you be that person? Will you be what, frankly, Trump has been, like him or lump him, a guy who has done or attempted to do precisely the things that he campaigned on? And I think, even if Tom Massie survives, and it seems like the closing momentum is against him, but even if he survives, there's roughly half of his electorate, half of the party, the Republican Party, Republican primary voters in his district that are saying, no, Thomas Massie hasn't been that guy. And that's a problem for Thomas Massie, even if he survives going forward. All right, coming up at 5:38, a best prom ever in Markham at taxpayers' expense, of course. Now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
73 degrees this early morning in Chicago on AM 560. The answer, a muggy day ahead. Threat of thunderstorms across the state, with a local threat developing early in the afternoon and a high near 80. Our top story this morning, a drone strike targeting the UAE's Seoul nuclear power plant.
The UAE, which has previously accused Iran of drone strikes, called the incident an unacceptable act of aggression. Iran, meanwhile, says negotiations with the US continue via Pakistani mediation. At the weekend, President Trump warned the clock is ticking, again threatening a return to military action. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
No one has been blamed. No major damage reported. The World Health Organization declaring an Ebola outbreak in the Congo and Uganda a public health emergency. More than 300 suspected cases and 88 deaths have been reported. One person killed, 2 others hospitalized after a house explosion in Wonder Lake Sunday night around 7:50 p.m. Firefighters were called to the 7400 block of Birch Drive for the reported house explosion. 2 neighboring homes were damaged by the fire and explosion. All westbound Interstate 290 lanes on the Ike shut down for hours after a deadly rollover crash on Sunday. Illinois State Police tell us 1 person was pronounced dead at the scene. The Cook County Medical Examiner's Office identified the victim as an 11-year-old. Crews battled a massive fire at the vacant Balmoral racetrack in Crete Township Sunday morning. Fire broke out along Dixie Highway. Full extent of that damage has not yet been determined. White Sox celebrating a huge series win over the Cubs on the south side. Skipper Will Venable.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a good way to characterize it. Really on both sides, both teams on both sides of the ball, just really impressive stuff and a great game to watch.
Edgar Cuero blasted that game-ending 2-run shot in the 10th. Southsiders took 2 of 3. Sox have now won 7 of 8. The Cubs have dropped 6 of 8. Aaron Rai celebrating his first major, finishing on top of the PGA Championship by 3 strokes over John Rahm. The news, a service of Mattress Firm, ready to upgrade to the perfect sleep setup. Let Mattress Firm sleep experts guide you to the perfect bed at the Memorial Day sale. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, and in 2 minutes, a check of your morning weather forecast in the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Alex Marlowe sees good news on the economy.
Economy added 115,000 jobs in April. 115,000 jobs in this economy is a lot, and it's much bigger than the forecast from Wall Street, which were about 55,000. Back-to-back monthly job gains for the first time in about a year. Another good sign. This signals the labor market is re-accelerating.
The Alex Marlowe Show. Afternoons at 3, right before Sean Thompson at 4 on AM 560. The Answer.
Rick Borick talks about the risk of being in the stock market right near retirement.
It's easy to drive around with no seatbelt on if you never think you're going to have an accident, right? And you go, well, it's never going to go down. I don't need protection for my portfolio. We're a big fan of getting those gains, but we're also a bigger fan of not taking huge losses.
Unleash your wealth, Saturday at 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
Are you 65 or older and dealing with chronic knee or shoulder pain? You're not alone. At the Joint Relief Institute, we've helped thousands find real relief without surgery. Our non-surgical, FDA-approved treatment uses hyaluronic gel that acts like a cushion between the bones in your knee. As we age, the cushion naturally wears down, causing painful grinding and popping. But our gel restores that cushion, allowing your knee to move smoothly again. Ready to stop the pain and get back to doing what you love? Call the Joint Relief Institute at 708-315-6800. Again, that's 708-315-6800.
Move better, live better with JRI.
Move better and live better with JRI. Contact the Joint Relief Institute today and get back to doing what you love. Call 708-315-6800 or visit jointreliefinstitute.com. Locations in Glenview, Oakbrook, and Orland Park. Call 708-315-6800. Medicare and most private insurance plans accepted. Reclaim your mobility with the Joint Relief Institute.
Did you know most remodeling mishaps start before construction even begins? Here's something else you should know. At Forever Remodeling, we do things differently. Every kitchen, bathroom, and basement project starts with smart planning, detailed 3D designs, a clear scope of work, and accurate pricing, all sorted out before you get started. No surprises, no stress, just beautiful results. Done right the first time. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, EVER, remodeling.com. And schedule your free in-home consultation today.
Amazon Business. With smart business buying, innovative AI tools optimize your purchasing experience paired with delivery options built for business. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Today, expect a mix of sun and clouds, becoming overcast. Later on, it will be breezy and humid with a chance of a thunderstorm by early afternoon, possibly bringing hail and strong winds. The high will reach 79. Tonight, the evening will remain breezy with mostly cloudy skies and high humidity. A thunderstorm is expected late at night with a low of 71. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Goldilocks, offering smart security systems to homes and businesses. Call Goldilocks at 708-889-5600.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here, and for those who have kids prom age, how did prom go for your son and or daughter? I bet you didn't do it up with all the pageantry that one park district director in Markham did it up for her kid. Yeah, the executive director of the Markham Park District, her name is Quintina Brown. And she had a helicopter land on a local park over which she has some authority as part of the memorable experience for her kid. Some problems with that. One is wasn't really law enforcement clearance for the chopper landing, and so there are people around, and that could provide a bit of a dangerous situation. Number two, she charged it to taxpayers. And again, I don't practice law. I'll refer this to Bert Odelson. He is the Markham city attorney. Of course he is. So one of the reasons that those South suburban communities are in such great shape is their wonderful legal counsel. But I don't believe that is a legitimate government expense, a chopper for your kid's prom night. CBS 2 has the story. Jermont Terry reporting for CBS Chicago.
About this prom helicopter stunt. Some say no one was harmed, so what's the problem? Others, including city leaders, insisting that the park director crossed the line for a photo op for her daughter. A photo shoot, at least the deposit we now know was charged with a credit card that taxpayers pay for. Less than a week after this helicopter landed at the Markham Park, catching many by surprise, this prom stunt for the park director's daughter is now political. Here's what Quintina Brown told officers.
I got it okay at the park, but I didn't just, what's going on with the city.
Yet city leaders never authorized the landing in the public park where children were playing.
Did they say you can land a helicopter? I have the landing permission, I can bring it over.
The pilot had a notice signed by the park director herself. The company later handed over this invoice to the city attorney. The receipt raises much bigger questions. The bill was for a minimum of $800 for an hour. At the bottom, there's a credit card number linked to Brown. She named Markham Parks as the company and even used the address of the field house and provided her signature on a taxpayer-funded credit card.
The plot thickens, as they say.
The city attorney says there's no way Brown accidentally entered all that information. In fact, he spoke to the helicopter company.
They told me that the deposit was charged to the card, and they have not been successful in getting the remaining $800 off the card for whatever reason.
Using the Park District credit card either to pay or hold the reservation is why Markham's mayor says residents should be concerned.
Why wouldn't somebody question that?
In fact, the city started questioning spending at the Park District and its board in the fall of 2025.
How are you, Ms. Brown?
CBS Chicago reported when Brown was first called on body cam, getting served with an injunction. Leaders allege Brown and the park board were not paying bills and left most parks with broken equipment and deplorable conditions.
They've been landing helicopters in different ways over there.
And remember that invoice? There's a line which says every additional 6 minutes over the hour would be $80. We're told police grounded that chopper for at least 3 hours. Now the big question, who will pay for the extra minutes? Not to mention the original $800. Keep in mind, that contract is under the name of the Markham Park District. We did reach out to Brown. She did not get back to me tonight.
This is in controversy. The plot thickens, says the town's attorney, Bert Odelson. What is complicated about this case? I mean, this is why the south suburbs are a demilitarized zone. I mean, it's not why they became one, but it's why they stay one. So out goes Tiffany Henyard and, a town over, hop, skip, and a jump over, we introduce you to Quintana Brown. I mean, yeah, the people should be concerned, says the mayor of Markham. We're not paying. The taxpayers cannot legally pay for that. It's unlawful. So she is paying. And she should be removed as, where's the park board? Here we go. Where are the elected officials? She should be removed as the executive director. Do you think? We got a real conundrum on their hands in Markham. What to do about this? Who should pay? Should Quintana Brown be disciplined in any way? And given the backstory that you got from CBS 2, that this isn't her first curious case of using a use of other people's money, I mean, it's just remarkable. Remarkable. The conduct, the reaction, the reporting. 312-642-5600, alphawealthgroup.com. Call in and text line. And, I was just reading this story and watching the local coverage of it. Where is Andrew Boutros? Where's Andrew Boutros? Does anybody know who he is besides me? No, most people don't, and that's the problem. We don't have an attorney general in this state. I mean, we have one with the title, Kwame Raoul, but he's not going to be interested in rooting out public corruption. So, and that's not unusual in Illinois, certainly of late. Lisa Madigan, for example, wasn't real keen on that area of law enforcement either, you may recall. So for even a shred of hope that government mobsters will be held accountable under the law when they commit overt acts of crime, we look to the U.S. Attorney's Office, particularly the U.S. Attorney of the Northern District of Illinois. And that's often been without effect in the last 30 or 40 years, too, even as we've had governors go to jail. There's so much underlying corruption beneath the governors that never gets ferreted out. Tiffany Henyard, I guess she's still under investigation. Where's that gone? How long does that take? Where's the U.S. Attorney's name is Andrew Boutros. He's a Trump appointee. So what's the record in the first year or so? What's going on? What cases do you have? What investigations are open? I know you can't comment on open investigations, but you can perhaps indicate whether you have one or not. Subpoenas are public documents, even if they need to be redacted in certain circumstances. So subpoenas have been issued where? What municipalities? Legislators. I mean, at least back in the day, you could count on these sort of on-again, off-again prosecutors, many of whom are politicians and looking either for the opportunity to be a rainmaker at a big firm, like Patrick Fitzgerald ultimately did, Patrick Collins ultimately did. Many, Dan Webb and Valukas, on and on and on. Or they wanted to be a politician like Jim Thompson. So they would at least pick off the low-hanging fruit, the ill-equipped alderhuman who takes $500 in cash, takes some bribe from a contractor. Those kinds of things, which is why we average, one alderman going away for, the better part of 50 years. One alderman per year for the better part of 50 years. It seems to be a bit of a drop-off. Is it because of all the ethics reform measures that have been passed in Springfield? Obviously not. You're not going to get any answers from the leftist power structure in charge of the state, so you might think that Andrew Boutros would be more public in looking into these matters and trying to help residents, although they need to help themselves too, languishing under the lordships in Southwest Cook County and elsewhere too. You scratch below the surface, most of these municipalities and all their little fiefdoms too. I'm not just talking about the city or village government, but things like park districts. And, number one, you're going to find a lot of unsavory characters doing unsavory things, illegal things even. And number two, you start to put markers down, and it begins to put people on notice to change their behavior. Otherwise, it's just full-on kleptocracy with no governor, pun intended. And that seems to be okay by everybody. The electorate and those in positions of authority where accountability is the order of the day and equal protection under the law is their charge. No. Okay. All right. I just asking. Hopefully they can get to the bottom of this controversy in Markham. So complicated. Rick in LaPorte, Indiana.
Robeson used to be the mayor for Quackenbush 20 years ago in Calumet City. They paid him $1 million. He's a mover and a shaker, man. This guy, he was checking into false voting and stuff, and he'll destroy your city, man.
Yeah, well, a lot of these municipal lawyers were. Thanks for the call, Rick. It's another racket. I know a lot of them. And I've come across Bert Odelson over the years too. Of course, Odelson and Stirk they bounce around. All these little municipal firms go to war with one another, trying to elect politicians so they can get the legal work. It's a whole racket. I've seen it play out over and over again. It's not a complicated one. I'm not the only one who's aware of it. And you don't even need to do protracted, in-depth investigation. It is all right there on the surface because why? Because they think they can get away with it. They think they're impervious. They're either wildly ignorant or wildly brazen or a combination of the two because tell me what's going to happen to Quintana Brown. The same thing that happened to Tiffany Henyard. She's going to move to another state, become a Republican, and run for county board so she can fleece some other unit of government, some other state. Reinventing herself, I suppose. And nobody says anything. Nobody. You get the sort of pro forma report from CBS Chicago, and fine, that was a good story. Well done. Okay. Hat tip. But there's just no press on it. It's all sort of the Potemkin upkeep, that we have something resembling a civil society in Chicagoland, and we just don't. I don't see much evidence of it. I really don't. And it's incidents like this that, provide the evidence to back up my claim. Where's the evidence to back up the counterclaim?
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer. Sign up for the AM 560 Answer Advantage to get early alerts on event ticket sales, special discounts, and contest opportunities. Sign up today at 560theanswer.com/advantage.
You need a construction company, but who?
Call Crosscom.
A construction company you can trust that shares your Christian and conservative values. For decades, Crosscom has been doing work in Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana, and Wisconsin. Roofs, siding, windows, doors, gutters, basically everything for your home or business, even solar. Quality work and professional services that make you feel great about your decision to work with Crosscom.
Call Crosscom.
630-871-5500. Give them a chance to earn your business. If your repairs are due to storm, fire, or flood damage, you need to
call Crosscom.
They're licensed public adjusters. They work for you, not the insurance company. Crosscom will work to get you the money you deserve, the maximum payout. They know the insurance companies and how to deal with them. They win for you.
Call Crosscom.
Crosscom Construction and Public Adjusters.
This is Dan Lights with Crosscom. You can trust us with your home or business for high quality work and fair prices. It's the only way we do business.
630-871-5500. CrosscomPublicAdjusters.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank, a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Anthony and John here from Bionic Auto Parts, proud clients of Signature Bank. We deliver high-quality, recycled and remanufactured auto parts to Chicago and Milwaukee. Our mission is simple: provide parts safely, reliably, with great customer satisfaction.
We process over 350 vehicles a month. With big banks, everything took forever. Layers of approvals and endless delays. At Signature Bank, one call got it done. Whether it's lending, deposits, or treasury management, they deliver fast. Signature Bank made us feel like family. That's a partnership we deeply appreciate.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Want to learn how Signature Bank can help turn your business vision into reality? Call Signature Bank at 773-467-5600 or visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Mike Lindell and the MyPillow employees want to thank you for your great support this past year. They want to make 2026 the best year ever. So to thank you, they are giving you free shipping on your entire order and wholesale pricing. So they are bringing back the mega sale. For example, the classic MyPillows, regularly $49.98, now only $14.98. Turn any mattress into the best mattress ever with the Made in the USA MyPillow My Mattress Topper and save up to $100. Get a set of MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets for as low as $29.98 or the 6-pack towel set for only $34.98. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY. These offers won't last long, so call 800-489-0201 or go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY. Order now and your entire order ships absolutely free.
This is Seth Leibson for townhall.com. Recently, a professor of politics at Princeton wrote an op-ed pointing out how many of his students and students at other colleges simply are unfamiliar with the Ten Commandments. He writes, quote, "They lack religious literacy and their ignorance of religious ideas means they struggle to understand a wide array of Western art, literature, and philosophy," close quote. They also wouldn't understand a great deal of history, never mind political philosophy, from Marx to Rousseau, or recognize lines from Shakespeare to our founding, to Frederick Douglass, to Lincoln, to Martin Luther King Jr. This is what the late Richard John Newhouse worried about decades ago. An America with an increasingly naked public square, bare of any religiosity or recognition of religious faith or culture. What Newhouse feared is now nearly complete, when students at major universities are now illiterate in the cornerstone of Western civilization. Many states right now are debating posting the Ten Commandments in K-12 classrooms. This wouldn't be a parochial decision. It would rather constitute necessary, basic, and remedial education. I'm Seth Leibson.
Gain insight into building strong marriages and raising godly children with Focus on the Family with Jim Daly each weekday at 11:30 a.m. on our sister station, AM 1160. Hope for your life. AM 560, The Answer.
Maybe some resident of Markham wants to follow the example of Spencer Pratt and go actually film what those parks in Markham look like while their executive director is landing choppers for prom night. We'll update the LA mayor's race because the barrage against Karen Bass continues unabated. Wild. 6 o'clock on AM 560 WIND Chicago.
Time is of the essence. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump wrote that on Truth Social in all caps, warning Iran the clock is ticking and they better get moving fast or there won't be anything left of them.
The president's post comes as reports indicate the Iranians have submitted a revised proposal to Pakistani mediators aimed at addressing some of the gaps in their previous response that President Trump described as a piece of garbage.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv.
If the war does resume, we're likely looking at a scenario where there are joint U.S. and Israeli strikes hammering the Iranian regime, not just around the capital of Tehran, but also in other key areas, especially along that western coast near to the Strait of Hormuz, where the Iranians still have some smaller cruise missiles and abilities to target international shipping lanes.
Oil prices rising another 1% this morning. That cruise ship stricken by the hantavirus got to its final destination this morning, docking in the Netherlands, where the crew will be quarantined. The ship will be disinfected. 3 people on board died. A Canadian passenger is tested positive, and 18 Americans taken off the ship are isolated as a precaution in Georgia and Nebraska. There is another virus outbreak in Africa, Ebola.
Hundreds of suspected cases and at least 80 deaths, with a warning that things could get worse. The outbreak of Ebola in the Democratic Republic of Congo and Uganda is now classed by the World Health Organization as an international emergency. It says the outbreak could already be much larger than detected. The WHO also believes there's a significant risk of local and regional spread. It's urging affected countries to activate emergency procedures and screening.
Jonathan Savage. 3 juveniles in custody in Austin, Texas after a shooting spree over the weekend, leaving 4 people injured, 1 critically. The teenagers are accused of stealing multiple cars and shooting at people and homes and fire stations. As for why, Austin Police Chief Lisa Davis says,
I don't know what motive would drive anybody to come and drive around senselessly in this city and in multiple parts of the city shooting.
America's listening to Fox News.
Good morning. A muggy start to the day. Very windy as well. 73 degrees. At 6:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. We're watching developments in Hanover Park this morning, where there's major police activity roughly between Barrington Road, Walnut, Lake, and Church Streets this morning. It's not just a traffic problem. There is a large police presence there this morning. 2 women were injured in a shooting Sunday night on Chicago's west side. The shooting happened just after 8 p.m. in the 100 block of North Mayfield. Both women are in good condition at Mount Sinai Hospital today. 1 person killed, 2 others hospitalized after a house explosion in Wonder Lake Sunday night. Firefighters were called out around 8 p.m. to the 7400 block of Birch Drive for the reported explosion. 2 neighboring homes were also damaged by the fire and explosion. On Sunday, roughly 1,000 men came together to celebrate progress of the project called Project Hood, while officially declaring it a violence-free zone. Pastor Corey Brooks with New Beginnings Church has been trying to bring the center to completion for about 15 years.
It's about transformation. It's about opportunity. It's about giving people an opportunity to change their lives and take responsibility for themselves.
Sunday's event offered an inside look into progress at that building, which will soon be ready near East 67th Street and South Martin Luther King Drive. White Sox celebrating a huge series win over the Cubs on the south side. Edgar Caro blasted that game, ending 2-run shot in the 10th. Southsiders took 2 of 3 in that series, while the Cubs have dropped 6 of 8. And Eric Rye is your winner at the PGA Championship. The news, a service of the AM 560 store. T-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands, including Proft University and the Sean Thompson Show. A check of the roads in 2 minutes on AM 560.
It's almost time for AM 560's annual golf outing, presented by Signature Bank. AM 560 is proud to partner with the Tunnel to Towers Foundation as they support America's first responder and military heroes to help America never forget 9/11. It's all happening on Monday, June 15th at McCray Memorial Golf Club in Barrington. Enjoy a full day of golf, meals, an awards reception, and a silent auction. Reserve your foursome today at 560theanswer.com/golf. Sponsored in part by Edward Jones Financial Advisor Nolan Webster and by real estate broker Ed Dring at leavingil.com.
So many people are living every day with pain that they just think they're stuck with it. It is what it is, but it doesn't have to be. I want to tell you about a letter I got from Oregon, a guy named George, and his Relief Factor story. George, hardworking guy, spends 10 hours a day in a garbage truck. Tough job, made even tougher because he's dealing with a sore right knee that just wouldn't bend. But here's the amazing part. George started taking Relief Factor, and it changed his life. And he said in his letter to me, and I quote, "I can bend my knee again with very little pain." I can relate to George. There was a time when I wondered if I could continue working because my pain was so bad. If you're living with aches and pains, see how Relief Factor, a daily drug-free supplement, can help you feel and live better every day. Give their 3-week quick start a try, $19.95. A few weeks, even days, you'll feel the difference that Relief Factor can make in your life. You don't have to be stuck living with the pain. Visit ReliefFactor.com, ReliefFactor.com, 800-4-RELIEF. That's 800-4-RELIEF. Lots of places can expose you to identity theft, but that's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If they find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes in your financial accounts, they'll alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that can make all the difference. Save up to 30% off your first year with the promo code BECK. LifeLock.com, 800-LifeLock, 1-800-LifeLock, or LifeLock.com. Use the promo code BECK at LifeLock.com.
My dad passed away unexpectedly. Of course, it was awful in every way, but we are very grateful that he had life insurance. So even after he was gone, he was still able to provide for us. And that's why I have life insurance for my family. Ethos.com. They make it fast and easy to get covered. It's 100% online. You get a quote in seconds, and you can apply in minutes and get covered the same day.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required. Rates may vary.
6:06. Let's get an update on the roads in the Team Hochberg Traffic Center. We'll start on the Jane Addams this morning, eastbound I-90 at Roselle Road. Stop-and-go traffic, right lane block. There is an accident being cleaned up and pushed out of your way. On the Bishop Ford this morning, outbound between 130th and Beaubien Woods. It's Doty Avenue if you prefer. Stall right lane, blocking things this morning, being shoved out of your way. Traffic, a service of the AM 560 mobile app. Listen to AM 560 on your smartphone or mobile device. Download the app, 560theanswer.com/mobile. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. But now a check of your forecast in the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Today, expect a mix of sun and clouds becoming overcast. Later on, it will be breezy and humid with a chance of a thunderstorm by early afternoon, possibly bringing hail and strong winds. The high will reach 79. Tonight, the evening will remain breezy with mostly cloudy skies and high humidity. A thunderstorm is expected late at night with a low of 71. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here, and the hits just keep coming for Karen Bass. You know you're in trouble when you're always playing defense, and that's what Spencer Pratt has done in that LA mayor's race. He has put Bass and her protege, Nithya Raman, on defense. When you have to explain statements you made that become the subject of ridicule and launch 1,000 AI-generated memes in the process to amplify the ridicule, you're in trouble. And so Karen Bass may not want to do any more debates. I can understand why. But she can't avoid having to clarify remarks like, free teeth for meth addicts, because you can't find success if you don't have a toothy grin. So she went on the ABC affiliate in L.A. to make her case.
Who would pay for the dental care for the unhoused?
When I say comprehensive health care, it's actually what people can get from Medi-Cal. The problem is that the linkage isn't made with the people and the services.
So
and
that would be
that
taxpayers?
system, well, we already pay for it. It's already paid for. It's the linkage that hasn't happened.
The reaction to that, though, was, why isn't the mayor doing more to address the meth use in the first place? What are you doing to address the drug use so we don't have to pay for dental care?
And let me just 100%. Let me just tell you that when I came in, we started, even though it is not the city's role to provide health care, it is the county. That was not enough for me. I said we have to provide it ourselves. So we took lawsuit money from tobacco and we established contracts with drug-related organizations, substance abuse organizations. And so some of those people we can refer to a drug treatment program. The issue with dental is that you want people to be productive. You want them to have a job. You want them to no longer need public assistance. So while someone is in interim housing waiting for permanent housing, let's us help them get their act together so they will be successful and down the line will not need public assistance at all.
If this had anything to do with public policy and you had a network affiliate reporter who actually could attach meaning to words. Really? So let's see. You funded this with tobacco lawsuit money. Well, so what's the long-term funding source? Because that money is finite. It ultimately dries up. Number two, so medium or short-term to then long-term housing. All of that's provided. By the way, is she still forcing hotels to rent to people who are homeless, to people who are drug addicts, to people who are repeat violent offenders? Remember, that was one of her big proposals when she came in. It sort of got sidetracked when the Pacific Palisades went up. But anyway, but of course it's not. It's the idea that, that Karen Basura has no regard for people who play by the rules in L.A. And those people who play by the rules, even the elites, can no longer insulate themselves from the consequences of the terrible public policy. Listen to this. I mean, Harvey Levin, the TMZ dude, not a conservative, not a Republican. Listen to what he says about L.A. Sounds very similar to what a lot of quote-unquote elites that are left of center, part of the power structure in one form or another in Chicago, say about Chicago.
I'm not only a born and raised Los Angelino, but I'm second generation. My dad was born and raised in LA. And so this is my life. And I have seen this city just fall apart, over the last, 8-9 years, but especially the last 4 years, that, the homeless problem is out of control in this city. I've been chased by people, a guy with a hammer, walking out of my gym. He chased me with a hammer. I had a mentally ill woman, a homeless woman, take a boulder and trash my car. And I caught her doing it. And I realized there is nothing I can do. What am I going to do? Get her arrested? I mean, what is that going to do? Am I going to sue her? So I literally looked at my car, watched her walk away, and said, I live in Los Angeles. And, the fires have been an absolute outrage in this city. This did have to happen. We had 100 fire trucks that were out of service. The water pressure was messed up, and people lost their homes as a result of bad leadership. And then all of a sudden, people are throwing other people under the bus for no reason. This city operated in an appalling way during the fires. And by the way, it's not over. The insurance companies are screwing people over left and right. I've got a friend, his name is Dan Brunn. He's an amazing architect. He put together a plan with 100 architects to offer their services free of charge to rebuild Altadena and Pacific Palisades. And they had a whole plan. I actually contacted Gavin Newsom, and Newsom—
I remember when you did that. I remember.
And Newsom put his people in touch with Dan, and they were all in, and they brought it down to the city, which they had to do, and it died a slow death in the city of Los Angeles. So this city is not working.
312-642-5600. AlphaWealthGroup.com, call and text line. This city is not working. Boy, you're going to hear that a lot next year when you've got 15 people running for mayor of Chicago, I'll tell you that. Unfortunately, I doubt any of them are going to have the attitude of a Spencer Pratt. Boy, it'd be nice to have somebody like him running at any level in Chicagoland, wouldn't it? To prove up the model here. Because what you heard from Harvey Levin is that markedly different, other than the fire, obviously. But is that markedly different than the description you hear from people who have left Chicago, people who have left New York, people who have left any major metropolitan area controlled by the left, which is most of them, of course, almost all of them. And what is the left in L.A. left to do in response to the barrage that Karen Bass is facing? I mean, again, because of the controlled vote nature of that city, like Chicago, being public sector union dominated, maybe Karen Bass survives. Maybe she doesn't. You can't just get excited about the viral nature of ads and say, oh, well, Spencer Pratt's definitely going to win. I mean, the odds are still stacked against him just in terms of the numbers, voting history. That matters. Can you get enough people to do something they wouldn't normally do? You're getting a lot, but is it enough when you start out basically at a 3-to-1 disadvantage? But it's really interesting. If they think that this is their antidote to Spencer Pratt's campaign, they trotted Chelsea Handler out, or Chelsea Handler trotted herself out. She's had I guess, a long-running feud with Spencer Pratt, L.A. And this is Chelsea Handler's declaration to try to, snap people out of their Pratt fandom.
Oh, hi. If you're seeing this video, this is a reminder that a straight white male, former reality star that has no previous experience in government should not be a legitimate political candidate. Have we learned anything yet? The bar is on the floor, people, and I need you to jump over it. Okay, thank you. Have a nice day.
And, of course, Pratt fired back because that's his want. He doesn't let anything go. Always on offense. And reminded everybody about Chelsea Handler dining with Jeffrey Epstein and Woody Allen back in 2010, just to muddy her up a little bit. I mean, she does a pretty good job of muddying herself up, but you're going to play the identitarian game and the experience game, straight white male. What does that have to do with anything? Straight white male with no experience. Yeah, well, we've got somebody with a decent intersectional score and a lot of experience in government, and the city isn't working. So, to borrow from Oscar Wilde, experience is what we call our mistakes. Yeah. The experience of electing Karen Bass is what a lot of people are calling their mistakes these days, isn't it? And again, the songs and the AI memes. Karen Bass could be the first candidate that is whose political career is ended by AI. They're just nonstop. First, the new rap song, Basura.
Let's go. The potholes on my block got their own area code. The tents on the boulevard stretching down every road. The school's falling apart while the budget disappears. We've been living in this basura for too many years. Taxes going up, but the service is going down. Drugs on the corner and crime all over town. Jobs leaving the city like they catching the next flight. Somebody made this mess and somebody's gotta make it right. We see you, Karen. We see what you did. You left us the basura. Now where did you hit? Say it with me. Say it loud. Everybody say it proud. Basura, basura. Time to take it out. Karen make basura. That is what we shout. Basura, basura. Housing, jobs, and roads. roads fixed, then we need them fixed today. We need the homeless help, not just pushed away. We need the jobs back, and we need the schools to work. We are done with the excuses, and we are done with the smirk. The housing cost is killing every family on this block. The crime is getting worse, and nobody wants to talk. We paid our taxes, Karen, where did all that money go? The basura keeps on piling up, and everybody knows. Homeless, drugs, crime. Taxes, waste, schools. Jobs, housing, roads. We are done. Saca la basura. Basura, basura. Time to take it out. Karen, make basura. That is what we shout. Basura, basura. Time to clean the city up. Saca la basura.
I could replace Despacito as, the greatest meme rap reggaeton kind of song of all time. Take out the trash in L.A. And this ad is really interesting. This is actually from the Pratt campaign. I mean, there's so many coming so fast, it's hard to distinguish the source all the time. This is something that, would work like to appeal to the ghastly Hinsdale housewives. But you have to have, it has to be based in something. You can't force it. And the reason I think this ad works is because there's a basis for it. Because Spencer Pratt is picking up steam with a demographic that normally wouldn't consider him. Talking about, basically middle-aged white women. Enter the Pilates studio.
All right, class, great job today. Hey, I have to tell you something. Promise you won't get mad? I'm voting for Spencer Pratt. Get mad? I'm voting for Spencer Pratt, too. Did someone mention Spencer Pratt? No? No. Oh, because I'm actually voting for him. Oh, so are we. I just don't know if we can say that too loud over here. Say what? Spencer Pratt? He's got my vote. Wait, is everyone here voting for Spencer Pratt?
Yeah. It's like the quiet Trump voter, the secret Trump voter, 2016, and to a lesser extent in 2020, and to a much lesser extent in 2024. But it's the same concept. But the reason that ad works is because it's actually happening. And so people see this and they say, oh, they're like me. And this would work here and in most places because the Hinsdale housewife or the Naperville housewife would identify with these women, but they're much hotter than the Hinsdale and Naperville housewives, these LA housewives, or these LA actresses for this thing, much hotter. And so we want to identify with that because they're the hot Pilates chicks. Making it cool, making it fun, making a point. Tom in Blue Island.
Hey, Dan. Happy Monday. Dan, Karen Bass reminds me of Jeb Bush at the beginning of, so if that would have been in 2015 or into 2016.
Please clap.
When he was the perceived front runner for the Republican Party, and Spencer Pratt has reminded me of Trump. He just tore Bush apart and he didn't know what to do. Karen Bass can't last until Election Day. She's going to have to take the Katie Hobbs method of what she did with Carrie Lake and just avoid everything and keep her mouth shut and let the unions out there steal the election. Otherwise, she's going to get her ASS kicked, brother.
Thanks for the call, Tom. George in Naperville.
Yes, Dan, if someone was chasing you with a hammer or stabbing you in the neck, would a beautiful smile really matter?
Yeah, thanks for the call, George. I think, the suicidal empathy, to borrow a phrase, I think that's wearing thin, not in every quarter there, clearly. Karen Bass is still the leader in the clubhouse at present, the plurality of the vote, 30%. So it's not wearing off everywhere, but it's wearing off in significant measure such that this has become a competitive race. Not something that you necessarily would have anticipated at the outset of this, if you even remember who Spencer Pratt is. And, Spencer Pratt's an interesting cat, if you will. I was talking to a friend who watched him on the hills, where he and Heidi Montag got their sort of breakthrough moment. But that's a long time ago now. But Spencer Pratt has been doing a lot of things, trying to break through and be, sort of monetize his 15 minutes of fame. He was into hummingbirds for a while. There's all kinds of stuff on Instagram and social media. If you go back a few years, he was obsessed. It seems like he's a guy who gets fixated on something and he just goes all in, like he's doing with this mayor's race. But he's wearing these crazy hats and crazy glasses that attract hummingbirds near his house. I don't know exactly the backstory and how he got so interested in it, but there are hummingbirds around. He studied how you attract hummingbirds. He posted about hummingbirds obsessively. There's also another iteration of Spencer Pratt was he got big into crystals. And he bought $1 million worth of crystals, which probably is why he couldn't rebuild his $3 million home. But he had his own line of crystals online. So it's just interesting. I obviously just to break through and reset the table and bring in new people in city government and perhaps tell a turnaround story about LA that very few people thought could be told in any big city at the moment. Of course, I want him to be successful. I want him to win, first of all, and then be successful. But it's going to be interesting if this is way down the line, and I know I'm putting the cart before the horse, but if he were to win, he's got to bring in some good people that know what they're doing, that are policy-oriented and understand the machinations of government and have good political instincts. I mean, he can be the spokesman in charge, and he can use the bully pulpit with the same attitude he's using it now to get things done, a la Trump, frankly. But you got to surround yourself with good people. But this is fascinating to watch. It's fascinating to watch. And I think there is, from the reporting and from talking to people that I know in LA, there's who are political, there's real concern in Bass World. They thought they could squelch him in the primary by putting Rahman up and having that dynamic where obviously you can't get to the left of Karen Bass, and she's got the government unions locked in, and so she wins in a runoff against Rahman, if Rahman even did anything other than basically lay down. But now that seems to be foreclosed unless something remarkable happens in the next 2 weeks before their June 2nd primary. And she's in real trouble. She's a bobber in the water. Now, whether, again, Pratt and can get, enough people to do something they wouldn't normally do. The funny thing about, an electorate full of dilettantes is once something becomes the cool thing to do, the thing of the moment to do, and it's not so much about thinking as it is about going with the flow, which is what they've been doing, and this is what's gotten them in so much trouble. But what Pratt has done is he's changed the direction of the flow. And again, I'll tell you, right now, momentum is a funny thing. Falling in, it's what people do. Most people do. I think he's got a real shot.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
Your show keeps me alive during the week. There's nobody I'd rather listen to between 5 and 9 in the morning than you guys.
On AM 560, The Answer.
John was an active man. He'd go for runs, walk the golf course, and always take the stairs instead of the elevator. But then bone-on-bone knee pain got in the way. Ow! And affected his mobility. It became too painful to even go for walks. And when it seemed like John's only option was knee replacement surgery, a friend told him about the Joint Relief Institute and their affordable, non-surgical knee pain relief. John met with the Joint Relief Institute and discovered their lubricating gel treatment could rejuvenate his lost cartilage. Safe, effective, no surgery. Long story short, John is now back to being active without pain or medication.
There is an alternative to knee replacement surgery. Stop living in pain. Call the Joint Relief Institute today, 708-315-6800, or visit jointreliefinstitute.com. Locations in Glenview, Oak Brook, and Orland Park. That's 708-315-6800. Medicare and most private insurance plans accepted. Reclaim your mobility with the Joint Relief Institute.
Did you know most remodeling mishaps start before construction even begins? Here's something else you should know.
At Forever Remodeling, we do things differently. Every kitchen, bathroom, and basement project starts with smart planning, detailed 3D designs, a clear scope of work, and accurate pricing, all sorted out before you get started. No surprises, no stress, just beautiful results. Done right the first time. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, EVER, remodeling.com. And schedule your free in-home consultation today.
A revolution in chip technology could make today's artificial intelligence obsolete. 3 companies are quietly building a $1 trillion triangle to develop and manufacture supercomputers the size of a dinner plate. Investment guru George Gilder has his finger on the 3 companies whose technology could change tech forever. Log on to trilliondollartriangle.com to find out which 3 companies are working on what could be the biggest tech disruption since the internet. trilliondollartriangle.com. That's trilliondollartriangle.com.
Hey AM 560 listeners, Jeff checking in again from jeffbuysyourhouse.com. What I learned serving our great nation in the military is that every mission is unique and success starts with listening. For nearly 20 years, our veteran-led house buying team has taken the time to understand what matters most to each homeowner we serve. Every home has a story, and every seller has different needs. Whether you want a quick closing or need extra time to find your next place, we customize our approach around what works best for you. That's how we've earned hundreds of 5-star Google reviews and an A+ rating with the BBB, by putting relationships first. No repairs needed, no cleanout required, and you pick the closing date that works best for your schedule. At jeffbuysyourhouse.com, we're here to help you through the entire transition, not just the transaction. Are you ready to work with a local team that takes the time to understand your home selling needs? Sell your house to the trusted source by calling us today at 630-895-9530. That's 630-895-9530 or jeffbuysyourhouse.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
I'll tell you something else that these pathetic Republicans like we have in Illinois could learn from Spencer Pratt. People like the super minority leaders, McCombie and Curran, who want to, ingratiate themselves to people who hate the Republican Party, like the Chicago Tribune editorial board. They're so just dumb, pathetic, cowardly. Here's the approach. This Marlo Stern, who's the chief correspondent for Variety, teaches at Columbia Journalism School, past senior entertainment editor for Rolling Stone. This is the kind of guy that most Republicans in office in this state would try to befriend. Please like me. Please give me good coverage. He responded to the story about Pratt saying he would leave L.A. if he loses the mayoral bid. And his response was, he lives in Santa Barbara. Typical snark. Purposely decontextualizing. Spencer Pratt's response: my house burned down. I lost everything. I can't rebuild. As a 42-year-old man with 2 kids, I had to move into my parents' house, and I'm getting attacked for that? This is journalism? This is why no decent people ever get into politics. This is why you only have goblins running everything. God help you if you try to make things right for your community. If you lose your entire town, journalists, in quotes, mock you for not making your kids sleep in the toxic dirt on your burned-out lot. Who raised you, dude? Yeah, that's pitch perfect to that audience. Cowardly Republicans in Illinois, learn something. Now let's check the headlines with Mike Scott.
74 degrees this early morning on AM 560, The Answer, and a muggy day ahead with the threat of thunderstorms. Our top story, 2 women injured in a shooting Sunday night on the west side. It happened around 8 p.m. in the 100 block of North Mayfield. This morning, both women are in good condition. 1 killed, 2 others badly hurt, hospitalized after a house explosion in Wonder Lake Sunday night. Firefighters were called out to the 7400 block of Birch Drive. 2 neighboring homes were damaged. Stocks this morning falling. Oil prices have jumped after President Donald Trump warned Iran that the clock is ticking as talks over a permanent end to the war stall. A drone strike has targeted the UAE's sole nuclear power plant. No one has been blamed. Officials say 4 crew members ejected safely after 2 Navy jets collided and crashed during an air show at a military base in Idaho.
All 4 crew members are reported in stable condition after ejecting as their aircrafts erupted into a ball of flames and smoke. No one on the ground was hurt. It was the first time the Gunfighter Skies show had been held in 8 years at Mountain Home Air Force Base after a hang glider pilot died in an accident there in 2018.
Reporter Deborah Valentine, a 14-year-old Michigan City, Indiana boy was shot and killed Friday afternoon, making him the 5th city teen to be shot and the 2nd to die in 1 week in the Northwest Indiana community. A nonprofit transparency and anti-corruption organization is calling for an investigation into the village of Oak Brook and how officials there came about approving a nearly $3.4 million contract for police technology.
In a report provided exclusively to the Center Square, the Oversight Project explains it started looking into a contract Oak Brook, Illinois entered with Fusus Police Technology after reviewing a report from Atlanta, Georgia that included more than a dozen other cities.
The ones that we found in DuPage County are particularly alarming. And so what we found here is that a Fusus employee, he's now deceased actually, had a very cozy relationship with the chief of the Oak Brook Police Department.
Kyle Brosnan, general counsel for the Oversight Project, said there should be an investigation. Oak Brook Police Chief Brian Straukas, who's named in the Oversight Project's report, told the Center Square he welcomes an investigation. I'm Greg Bishop.
The White Sox celebrating a huge series win over the Cubs, 9-8 yesterday on the South Side. The news, a service of Steiner Homes. Building homes is more than a business. It is a calling. Family-owned, dedicated to building custom homes with care, integrity, and craftsmanship you can trust. SteinerHomesLTD.com, Northwest Indiana's leading home builder. Love where you live. A check of the roads in 2 minutes on AM 560.
It's almost time for AM 560's annual golf outing, presented by Signature Bank. AM 560 is proud to partner with the Tunnel to Towers Foundation as they support America's first responder and military heroes to help America never forget 9/11. It's all happening on Monday, June 15th at McCray Memorial Golf Club in Barrington. Enjoy a full day of golf, meals, an awards reception, and a silent auction. Reserve your foursome today at 560theanswer.com/golf. Sponsored in part by Edward Jones Financial Advisor Nolan Webster and by real estate broker Ed Dring at leavingil.com.
You know I don't push products I don't believe in, so listen up because this one I love and recommend to friends and listeners. It's Virago Liquid Immune Support. Now I spoke with Dr. Hubert, the creator of Virago, and let me tell you, this man knows immune health like nobody's business. He explained to me the stronger your immune system, the stronger your body fights back against viruses, disease, inflammation, all of it. That's why he created Virago. It's a liquid immune boosting supplement packed with 23 powerful nutraceuticals working together in synergy. It's antiviral, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and even protects your heart, kidneys, and liver. And because it's liquid, your body absorbs it quickly. I mix Virago in my smoothies. I feel the difference, and you will too. So order your bottle of Virago today at myvirago.com. That's myvirago.com and use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%. myvirago.com, coupon code IMMUNE.
Each morning, the newsmakers and the newsbreakers shaping today's conversation are heard on the AlphaWealthGroup.com answer line on Chicago's Morning Answer. When you need answers about what's happening in your world, you turn to AM 560 The Answer. And when you need answers about how to prepare for and protect your retirement, you turn to the Alpha Wealth Group, now the proud sponsor of the AM 560 Answer line, right here on Chicago's source for news, opinion, and insight. AM 560 The Answer.
Food, fuel, jobs. It all starts with homegrown Illinois corn. Driving a $148 billion economic impact, corn supports thousands of jobs and strengthens communities across our state. It's advancing cleaner burning biofuels, expanding plant-based manufacturing, and growing a renewable economy. Illinois corn isn't just an agricultural success, it's a strategic investment in energy, innovation, and economic growth. See what's possible at ilcorn.org.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
6:39, Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. Hanover Park, police activity shutting down section of close to downtown, Barrington, Walnut Lake, and Church Street, all in that area shut down this morning due to police activity. Jane Addams I-90 has an accident in the cleanup stages eastbound at Roselle Road, and there are delays this morning on the Stevenson coming inbound. You're riding the brakes Harlem into Western. Traffic is a service of the Hartford Auto Insurance. Wait until you hear this. You could save hundreds by switching to AARP Auto Insurance from the Hartford. Visit trusthartford.com. The Hartford Insurance Group pays royalty fees to AARP for use of its intellectual property. AARP and its affiliates are not tied to the Hartford Insurance Group. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but first, your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Cloudy, breezy, humid, maybe a thunderstorm. The thunderstorms could bring some hail this afternoon with a high near 80.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here. I mean, this is rich. This is really rich. What a desperate attempt to regain relevance. I shouldn't say stay relevant because BLM is really passé. Desperate attempt to regain relevance. Black Lives Matter leaders, scare quotes, get together to host a press conference to call out Netflix for a joke about George Floyd that was made during the roast of Kevin Hart. Can you follow this triple bank shot that BLM is attempting? They're offended by a joke that Kill Tony, the comedian, made about George Floyd while roasting Kevin Hart for a Netflix roast. Here's what they have to say. So offended.
Again, it is not a laughing matter. We are here today to call your attention to the fact that an egregious, disgusting joke was made about George Floyd. Here we are about to memorialize George Floyd for year 6 after his brutal murder at the hands of the Minneapolis Police Department. Our community is still experiencing grief and trauma. We have young people in our community who were children at the time. They're now teenagers, still dealing with the impacts of the police killing of George Floyd. And instead of allowing our community to grieve in peace, to celebrate George Floyd in peace, we have Netflix comedians making light of the brutal killing of George Floyd. It is unacceptable and it is unconscionable. Tony Hinchcliffe made a grotesque joke saying that George Floyd is looking up at us, laughing, and he can't breathe. When I saw the clip online, it made me sick to my stomach. We are here to declare today that there needs to be accountability for Kevin Hart's Netflix roast.
Brother, literally, can you take a joke? The thing that's the most disturbing, and it's just cultural poison. You can conclude, as a jury did, that George Floyd's civil rights were violated. He was killed by police, and it was a criminal act. But what is there about George Floyd to celebrate? That word, celebrating George Floyd. Was that a life well lived? On the merits? Is that how you would tell your son to live his life? Live your life the way George Floyd lived his life? It's just such a bizarre take. Anyway, to keep this light because it's just so ridiculous. I know you want to hear the joke if you haven't heard it. So here it is. I mean, especially for Tony Hinchcliffe, if you've forgotten, I'll give you some other examples. Especially for Tony Hinchcliffe, this is pretty tame. And by the way, Kevin Hart was laughing along too. So I don't know. What's the accountability? You going to boycott Kevin Hart movies?
You've done good, though, Kevin. The black community is so proud of you. Right now, George Floyd is looking up at us all, laughing so hard that he can't breathe.
That was it. And that's what generated a press conference. I mean, Tony Hinchcliffe, this is what he does. I mean, he got in trouble. Remember when he opened for a Trump rally at Madison Square Garden, and he offered these jokes.
It is absolutely wild times. It really, really is. And, there's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay. All right. Okay. We're getting there. No. All right. Heck yeah. It's a cool black guy with a thing on his head. What the hell is that? A lampshade? Look at this guy. Oh, my goodness. Wow. I'm just kidding. That's one of my buddies. He had a Halloween party last night. We had fun. We carved watermelons together. It was awesome. You guys this is a groany little morning crowd, huh?
And you remember this was all controversy about his racist jokes and demands for apologies, and Kamala Harris kept reposting those clips to show that Trump is a racist and MAGA's white supremacist and so on and so forth. And how'd that go for her? 312-642-5600, the alphawealthgroup.com call and text line. I mean, I think the phrase "lighten up, Francis" is appropriate here, but race hustlers are gonna hustle. That's what they do. BLM leaders. There needs to be accountability for a comedian telling a joke at a roast. What? In point of fact, going back to the Tom Brady roast. No, I'm just for my own entertainment. Going back to fun clips. This was Tony Hinchcliffe addressing Kevin Hart, who was one of the roasters at the Tom Brady roast. But you don't limit your barbs to the honoree. You get everybody who's roasting as well. And so this is Kill Tony on Kevin Hart.
Everyone's up here talking about what a big winner Tom is, but let me tell you, Tom is afraid of the Giants, which is why Kevin Hart is hosting tonight. It's true. All night, he's been using the stool that Aaron Hernandez kicked out from under himself. Yeah. It's true. Kevin is so small that when his ancestors picked cotton, they called it deadlifting.
Oh, come on. Come on. And it wasn't just Kevin Hart. I mean, some of the best at the Tom Brady roast, if you recall, were the rips on Gronk, and Kill Tony had one.
Gronk, I'm happy you could take a break from writing Santa letters to be here today. I knew you were here when we were all out of chocolate milk backstage. By the way, Gronk, that's Kevin Hart sitting next to you. That's not your shadow.
Lighten up. 312-642-5600. I'm just going to end on a high note. We'll come back with another.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
Picture warm Gulf breezes, turquoise waters, white sand beaches. Now, add evenings of conversation with Salem Media's Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, and Jennifer Horn. This November, sail from Fort Lauderdale to the Bahamas, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, and Mexico on a 7-day journey built for those who love this country. Book your cabin today when you text the word cruise to 94878. Celebrate America's 250th anniversary the right way on the Gulf of America Cruise. Book your cabin now. Text the word cruise to 94878.
You know what really keeps me up at night? It's the criminals feel more and more bold. They have no fear of any consequences because there are none. So I did what anyone with a family should do. I called Goldilocks. They're not just some cookie-cutter security company. Goldilocks has been protecting Chicagoland homes and businesses for 4 decades, 40 years. And they actually listen. Their technician comes out to the house. He takes a look at what you need to make your house a smart home with a security system you can monitor from anywhere. It's built specifically for me and my family. Motion sensors, smart locks, cameras, monitoring, all customized. I don't trust anybody in Illinois to protect my family. I do it, and I did it by calling Goldilocks. I trust Goldilocks to keep my house, my property, and my family safe. Tell them Sean Thompson sent you, and Goldilocks will include 3 months free monitoring with any new installation. Call Goldilocks at 708-889-5600. That's 708-889-5600. Or visit them online at GoldilocksInc.com.
Platform safety is so important in your industrial facility. You need to keep personnel safe and meet OSHA requirements. Experience one problem with your platforms, and you could be facing costly fines or worse. Vans Industrial helps you meet OSHA standards to keep your employees safe.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. As a metal fabricator, I know the importance of keeping your workplace safe. Vans Industrial is a specialty contractor, uniquely equipped to design, fabricate, and install safety equipment including steel catwalks, handrails, stairways, and ladders. Our team of union building trades mechanics can inspect existing systems, engineer solutions, fabricate quality steel products, and install it all, creating a safer workplace environment.
Call 833-VANS-IND for a free inspection of your building. See what else they can do for you. Visit vansindustrial.com. That's VANS Industrial.com. Quality craftsmanship since 1964.
AM 560, The Answer.
Sports and politics and sports and politics and sports and politics and intersection. Arrogance and ignorance. Arrogance, ignorance, and arrogance and ignorance. Intersection.
Yeah, I mean, this race-based business is falling out of favor. It's uneven, but obviously it's not just with respect to the Calais decision and map drawing. DEI in schools and corporate America. So it's not disappeared by any stretch, but it is increasingly being targeted because it's wrong, counting by race. And the Attorney General for the state of Florida, Jim Uthmeier, he's targeting the NFL and the Rooney Rule. He was on Fox over the weekend.
Sure. Well, the Rooney Rule is a discriminatory DEI rule. It's one of these that has stained corporate America, and it violates Florida's civil rights laws. It requires NFL teams to interview black candidates before they hire non-minorities. It had racial quotas for certain assistant coaching positions, and it gives out draft picks, something that's very valuable to a team, based on proof of advancing minorities in employment positions. Now, the NFL has already capitulated. They got rid of their racial hiring quotas for assistant positions, but there are still remnants of the discriminatory rule. So we have taken civil action. We've issued a subpoena to figure out how many people are getting positions based on the color of their skin, how many people are losing positions because of these discriminatory practices. We're going to get some answers, and we will seek legal recourse where necessary.
And those who aren't familiar with the component parts of the Rooney Rule, which has evolved over the years, it's been around for a while. And, of course, it's championed by Roger Goodell. You'll hear from in a minute. These are the areas of the Rooney Rule that were highlighted in the subpoenas that were issued by Florida Attorney General Uthmeier. It requires NFL teams to interview head coach candidates from various racial backgrounds. Requires teams to hire female or minority candidates for certain coaching positions. So that's required hires for certain assistant coaches. Coach and front office accelerator program, provide leadership development opportunities for female and minority staff. Give opportunity for college level officials to gain experience. And then this is problematic. Well, a lot of it's problematic. Rewards teams with draft picks for promoting minority talent to coaching and managerial positions. I mean, it's a backdoor quota. And Uthmeier made the point, which is a salient one. Of course, all this counting by race is insulting to everybody, specifically the people that you're intending to assist.
Quite frankly, it's insulting not only to the minorities that go in and have to partake in these interviews just to check a box for the teams to comply with the rules, but it's also insulting to minorities and females that get positions. They're always going to wonder, did they get the position because of merit, because they're good at their jobs, or because of racial and sexist preferences? So this is wrong. It's been great to see much of corporate America run quickly away from these discriminatory practices. The NFL is going to continue to do it, and we're going to be here to hold them legally accountable. You can bet on that.
Good, because Roger Goodell, who's just awful, he was a huge Black Lives Matter enthusiast, still is. Colin Kaepernick apologist, still is.
As you know, the Rooney Rule is not a hiring mandate. It's intended to try to help, and it's been used by industries far beyond football and far beyond the United States to help identify candidates and a diverse set of candidates to bring in better talent and give us an opportunity to hire the best talent, ultimately.
Yeah. You know how you hire the best talent? By hiring the best talent. And the diversity piece takes care of itself because talent is distributed across non-behavioral characteristics like racial groups and so forth. That's how you do it. Diversity doesn't need you to be its steward, Roger. And that's the point. That's the point with respect to opposition to all of this race-hustling, identitarian bilge. And that's what it is. So good for the Florida AG for stepping up and willing to take on the NFL. And Trump has sent some messages in the direction of the NFL, too, regarding television contracts that he's not particularly fond of. I think he mentioned that in a sit-down with Cheryl Atkinson. Okay, one other sports and politics item quickly. I know everybody is, all Sox fans are excited about the Sox surprising start this year and then taking 2 out of 3 from the hated Cubs. But Reinsdorf, I hope it's better under Ishbia. Chicago White Sox moving ahead with identity politics in the form of their named nights. They're still going to do Pride at the Park, and they're also doing a homies night. There's a night you don't want to go. And a new Pope Leo the 14th giveaway. I'll be interested to see what that giveaway is. It was Pope Leo bobblehead doll. What is it going to? Anyway, country music night is gone though. That no longer appears on the team's published promotional calendar after more than a decade. I guess the changing demographics, Pride night, but no country music night. There's a commentary on White Sox baseball. Here's another commentary though. Cubs, that snooty Cubs, the Northsiders that look down at us. Did you see this exchange between PCA, Pete Crow Armstrong, and a fan? A female Sox fan, with the outfield seats, up against the fence, appropriately jeering at PCA, saying you suck, which is well within the bounds of fandom. And this happened. It's hard to hear, but she said, you suck. And he said, suck my effing bitch. That is very classless. How dare you, Cubs? Gosh. We just all the civilized fun. It's like a big frat sorority party. And this ugliness from PCA, I hope that is remembered the next time those two teams play. Yeah. Don't just come together and say Green Bay sucks. There's got to be a PCA reckoning. It's now 7 o'clock on AM 560 WIND.
Iran better move fast. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's President Trump's latest warning on Truth Social, writing the clock is ticking, and they better get moving or there won't be anything left of them. As the conflict remains at a standstill days after the president called Iran's counterproposal trying to work out a deal garbage. And if the U.S. resumes bombing, Fox's Trey Inkst reports from Tel Aviv.
We understand, according to regional sources, that President Trump has been presented with a variety of options, and these would likely include going after the remaining leadership of the Iranian regime and also a variety of other targets, going after the storage facilities where they still have a variety of missiles in underground areas.
Iran appears to have again attacked its Gulf neighbor, the United Arab Emirates, with drones.
3 entered from the western part of the country. 2 were shot down. 1 hit an electrical generator outside the Baraka nuclear power plant near the border with Saudi Arabia. This is UAE's only nuclear power plant, guys. It has 4 reactors, which supplies up to a quarter of the country's electricity. UAE's ambassador to Washington posting on X, quote, the attack targeting the Baraka plant is unacceptable act of aggression.
That's Fox's Lucas Tomlinson in Dubai. The U.S. Navy and the FAA are investigating a mid-air collision of 2 fighter jets during an air show in Idaho yesterday. All 4 aboard safely ejected, parachuting down while the jets hit the ground in giant plumes of black smoke. Now an update on that hantavirus-stricken cruise ship.
The MV Hondius was carrying 25 crew members and 2 medical personnel when it reached Rotterdam in the Netherlands this morning. The crew will enter immediate quarantine. The ship will now be disinfected. It ends a sailing from Argentina during which 3 passengers died, including a Dutch couple believed to have brought hantavirus on board.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. A Canadian passenger tested positive. 18 Americans remain in quarantine in the U.S. as a precaution. There's also an Ebola outbreak in Africa, 300 cases, 80 deaths. Some Americans are infected there, but the CDC says there's a low Ebola risk here. America's listening to Fox News.
Breezy and muggy, 75 degrees in Chicago on AM 560. The Answer. I'm Mike Scott. In our QC Kinetics newsroom, 2 women were injured in a shooting Sunday night on Chicago's west side. It happened around 8 p.m. in the 100 block of North Mayfield in the Austin neighborhood. Both women were shot and were taken to Mount Sinai Hospital in good condition. Crews battled a massive fire at the vacant Balmoral racetrack in Crete Township Sunday morning. Fire broke out along Dixie Highway. Full extent of the damage has not yet been determined. This morning, a Chicago woman is accused of killing an infant and jumping out of a window of a home on Chicago's southwest side. Tatiana Maxwell stabbed a baby girl inside of a home in the 3000 block of West 59th, then jumped out of that window of an upper story building, suffering injuries. On Sunday, roughly 1,000 men came together to celebrate progress of a Project Hood project. Southside pastors finally seeing completion of the Project Hood Center, something Pastor Corey Brooks with his New Beginnings Church has been trying to bring to the community for about 15 years.
It's about transformation. It's about opportunity. It's about giving people an opportunity to change their lives and take responsibility for themselves.
Sunday's event offered a look inside the new building. Soon it will be ready at East 67th Street and South Martin Luther King Drive. White Sox winners over the Cubs on the south side. They'll tank the series after a 10th inning victory yesterday. Sox take 2 of 3. Cubs have dropped 6 of 8. The news, a service of Goldilocks, offering Chicagoland's state-of-the-art smart security systems to protect your home or business. AM 560 listeners receive 3 months of monitoring free with new installs. Get peace of mind by calling Goldilocks at 708-889-5600. A check of the roads in 2 minutes on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher sees interesting behavior from the left.
They're so furious that the High Court in Virginia ruled against their illegal redistricting scheme that they want to lower the mandatory retirement age to 54 or younger for members of the Virginia Supreme Court. They're nuts.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
So many people are living every day with pain that they just think they're stuck with it. It is what it is, but it doesn't have to be. I want to tell you about a letter I got from Oregon, a guy named George, and his Relief Factor story. George, hardworking guy, spends 10 hours a day in a garbage truck. Tough job, made even tougher because he's dealing with a sore right knee that just wouldn't bend. But here's the amazing part. George started taking Relief Factor, and it changed his life. And he said in his letter to me, and I quote, "I can bend my knee again with very little pain." I can relate to George. There was a time when I wondered if I could continue working because my pain was so bad. If you're living with aches and pains, see how Relief Factor, a daily drug-free supplement, can help you feel and live better every day. Give their 3-week quick start a try, $19.95. A few weeks, even days, you'll feel the difference that Relief Factor can make in your life. You don't have to be stuck living with the pain. Visit ReliefFactor.com, ReliefFactor.com, 800-4-RELIEF. That's 800, the number 4-RELIEF.
If you're considering investing in precious metals, don't wait. The Iranian conflict seems to be nearing an end, and the time is now to position your retirement for massive growth. Advantage Gold is America's #1 precious metals company, and they want to send you a free gold and silver investor guide valued at $49 when you call 800-900-8000. Plus, you'll get a free copy of economist Ken Rogoff's book, Our Dollar, Your Problem. Our specialists can help you open a new account or transfer funds from an existing IRA, tax and penalty-free, and show you how a gold-backed IRA can put real, tangible assets into your retirement portfolio. Markets react to news cycles, but gold has maintained its value through inflation, volatility, and economic uncertainty. When the purchasing power of the dollar declines, that's when investors turn to gold and silver. Make your move now. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Results may vary. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000.
7:06, Team Hochberg Traffic Center time, a service of the daily podcast of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Sean Thompson Show. Hear both shows, limited commercials. Subscribe free at 560theanswer.com/podcast. Police activity right now, Lake, Barrington, Walnut, and Church Streets in Hanover Park, bottling things up near the center of town this morning. Tri-State Tollway jams up southbound on the off-ramp to I-190 as you roll into O'Hare this morning, and the Bishop Ford stop and go inbound between Cottage Grove and the Dan Ryan. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. But first, check of the forecast in the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Today, expect a mix of sun and clouds with increasing cloud cover later on. It'll be breezy and humid with a chance of a thunderstorm in the early afternoon. These thunderstorms may bring hail and damaging winds. The high temperature will reach 79 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here. Trump is set to meet in the Situation Room tomorrow with his national security team to discuss resuming major strikes. He posted on X in the direction of the Iranians. the clock is ticking, telling Axios the Iranians, are going to get hit much harder. They are going to get hit much harder, quote unquote, if they don't offer a better deal, a deal that is more consistent with what the U.S. has proposed, obviously. Well, the clock is ticking on Trump saying the clock is ticking, too, by the way. For more on all of this, pleased to be joined by Steve Bucci for a weekly conversation on all matters geopolitical. He served America for 3 decades as an Army Special Forces officer and top Pentagon official, now a visiting fellow in the Heritage Foundation's Allison Center for Foreign Policy Studies. Stephen Bucci, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
It's always my pleasure to be on the show. Thank you for having me.
So, there's some impatience with Trump's patience, I think, and it looks like this is going to be addressed this week, and probably, assuming no give from the Iranians, no substantive give, we're going to see a resumption of hostilities.
It looks that way to me, and I think that's probably the right thing. I'm with you. I'm sitting there. I hate to say I'm getting impatient with the president. I mean, he's got a lot more information than me, but you sit there and go, okay, Ray Charles could see these guys are not going to cut a deal, at least not right now, and we need to move on. We know what they respond to. It's force and strength. And, we've let them dink around, messing with the Straits and, going after some of our allies in the area. And I think it's time to say, okay, we gave you lots of rope. You guys have chosen to hang yourself, so we're going to cooperate. And we just need to go back at them really hard, not any sort of, pitter-patter stuff. We need to really bring down the hammer, and hopefully that'll be the thing that causes these guys to realize, okay, he really is serious. Let's do something, or just die. That would be helpful too, probably.
Well, I mean, it would seem to me that the Gulf states that are taking incoming fire would be pressing Trump to move too. For example, UAE. Basically, I mean, if I'm there, I say, look, we've joined the fight. And we're taking incoming, and we need you. We can't do this without you. We need you guys to, alter the balance of power post haste.
And I can't believe they're not saying that to the administration. They know they can't do it alone, or they probably would have done it a long time ago. They know they need us, and look, they're Arabs, they like to negotiate too. I'm sure they give, the president some flexibility of trying to make a deal. But at this point, their targets are being hit. They have limited means to hit back, though, UAE, bless their hearts, are giving it a shot. But this is going to take American firepower re-engaging in a really significant way. It should be precise. It should be, very specific targets, but it needs to be done with some degree of spectacular effect, because that's going to get their attention. That's going to get the attention of the dissidents in the country, and hopefully we can tip this thing over the edge and bring it to a conclusion.
Over the weekend, Trump posted on Truth Social, tonight at my direction, brave American forces and the armed forces of Nigeria flawlessly executed a meticulously planned and very complex mission to eliminate the most active terrorists in the world from the battlefield. She's talking about Bilal al-Manuki, second in command of ISIS globally, thought he could hide in Africa, but he was wrong. The green lighting of taking out that ISIS terrorist, and this is, in the context is this apparent terrorist attack in Italy over the weekend, a terrorist on American soil who was arrested, suspected terrorist by the FBI. Are we seeing? I mean, is this look, we can walk and chew gum at the same time, and the two things, this and looking at Iran, should be seen separately, or are they connected? Are we seeing a resurgence of Islamist-oriented terrorism directed at the West, sort of coming out and actually trying to execute terrorist attacks?
Well, I think first and foremost is the last thing you mentioned, that there is a resurgence. These guys are still there in much lower numbers and much less capacity than they had before, but they're still there and they're still dangerous. So that's number one, is just a recognition that that's true. And that was something that, 4 presidents ago, George W. Bush said, hey, this is going to take, decades to really get rid of these guys completely. So be ready for it. And then the other aspect is there's some really good messaging capability here to Iran primarily, but also to China, to others that, even though we haven't been dinging people hard in some of these areas, we're still watching them. We're still gathering intel on them. And when we choose to, and when it's advantageous to, we can go in and either capture them as we did Maduro or kill them. So, that's a good message palette to send to all of these guys to realize, no, it just because you have a couple of months where nobody's doing anything to you, it doesn't mean you're free and clear and you can go ahead and do more mischief. That's just not the case. And I think that was a good time to send that message, and just the right kind of guy to take off the chessboard. He's a reprehensible person doing bad things in North Africa. So good on him, and I'm glad we got it done without any good guys getting hurt.
Back in this hemisphere, the story that Axios had, Cuba has acquired more than 300 military drones from Russia and Iran, apparently, and began discussing plans to use them to attack Gitmo and possibly U.S. military vessels, and possibly Key West. They're going to hit Florida. Was that the basis for John Ratcliffe's visit to Havana last week?
I'm not sure what Mr. Ratcliffe's visit entailed in total. I'm sure if he had that info in his pocket, he would have at least discussed it with them and said, that would be a really, really stupid idea. And you shouldn't do it. Now the Cubans may be trying to develop a capability like that to theoretically deter us from doing anything to them. I think that's kind of depending on the Russians for technology or even the Iranians for technology is probably not the greatest idea in the world, since we've shown it's not that hard to defeat for us. So if that's the staff they want to lean on, they need to understand it's kind of weak and broken. But it is still dangerous, and hopefully we are communicating to them, do not do this. This is not going to end well for you or your people. And, they won't. But, it's hard to underestimate the sometimes stupidity of some of these autocratic leaders who think that the press that they've been printing about themselves really has any connection to reality, when in fact it does not.
Yeah, what did Einstein say about stupidity? The difference between intelligence and stupidity is intelligence has its limits. There's always that consideration. With respect to Cuba, so the reporting is that DOJ is going to unseal an indictment of Raul Castro for allegedly ordering the 1996 downing of 2 planes flown by a Miami-based aid group called Brothers to the Rescue. And more sanctions targeting Cuba could also be announced this week. So is the unsealing the indictment against Raul Castro, is that the predicate for some sort of Maduro-esque operation?
It would at least put that on the table, and with the same level of justification we had for Maduro. We even had American legislators saying, but you went and captured a legally elected official. And, Marco Rubio was very quick to say, no, he wasn't a legally elected official. He was an indicted criminal. And we went and arrested him. So trying to set up those same sort of parameters for Raul, at the very least, even if we don't mean we're going to actually do it, Raul doesn't know that we don't necessarily mean we're not going to do it. So there's some psyop going on here at the very least, and possibly it is a setup to get ready for a move to help the Cuban people get free of the Castros.
Before I let you go, since last time we spoke to you was before the Trump-Xi summit, what was your takeaways geopolitically from the discussions as disclosed publicly about Taiwan, about the Thucydides trap, about the statements that the great rejuvenation, as she calls the China program, and America first can peacefully coexist. I mean, I know it's all just posturing and propaganda, but is there anything that you saw that you thought was particularly salient or important?
I thought what was important was the left in the West and in America were more excited about the visit than anybody else because they thought Xi was going to really humiliate Trump and get him to accept some sort of very just weak sauce kind of agreement just to get an agreement with him. And they found out that President Trump doesn't mind negotiating, and no sometimes is the answer you get from an opponent. And in this case, it seemed like he came away with more out of it than the Chinese did. So I thought it was a successful visit. I wish we could have gotten more. I wish we'd gotten a full-up verbal confirmation that he was going to do his best to get the Iranians to back down. He'd never said that, but he did accept taking American oil. Yes. Something that we can control and something that our adversaries no longer get the benefit of. So I think it was overall, from our side, about as successful as we could have hoped for. I didn't expect Xi to grovel on the ground.
No.
I did think it was ludicrous that people that posted lots of pictures of Trump bowing to him that were all fake AI pictures. The left is really getting desperate in some cases to try and derail Trump's efforts, and it so far hasn't working.
But I mean, the whole thing, Trump reporting back that she said, if you think there's anything I can do to help you reopen the Strait of Hormuz, please let me know. Yeah, no, I mean, gosh, I hadn't even thought of that. You think you could help with that? Oh, well, gosh, let me think on that, and let me come back to you and see if I think there's anything you can do. But I really appreciate you willing to pitch in there. Is there anything that you expect that he will do to stand the Iranians down before, maybe after the next round of strikes come?
I don't have any specific things. I do think it is relevant, and I've talked about this at other times. We tend to think the Chinese, like steer North Korea, steer Iran. China really, those folks are benefactors of China's help, but China doesn't own them. And so for us to think that Xi is going to step up and go, okay, I'll just turn all that off. He is not as big a puppet master as we give him credit for, or I think as he thinks he is. So he really doesn't control what the Iranians decide to do. Hopefully he can influence them because he's one of their big customers, but he is not running the show there. So the fact that he didn't actively say he was going to interfere with what we're doing, to me, that's a victory.
Stephen Bucci served America for 3 decades as an Army Special Forces officer and top Pentagon official. Now a visiting fellow in the Heritage Foundation's Allison Center for Foreign Policy Studies. Stephen Bucci, thanks as always. Appreciate it.
It's my pleasure, Dan. Take care and have a good week.
You too. And Stephen joined us on the alphawealthgroup.com answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day. then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer. It's almost time once again for the annual AM 560 golf outing presented by Signature Bank. AM 560 is proud to partner with the Tunnel to Towers Foundation to help them support America's first responder and military heroes to help America never forget 9/11. This year, our golf outing is happening on Monday, June 15th at McRae Memorial Golf Club in Barrington. When you purchase a foursome to join us, you'll enjoy a full day of golf, meals, an awards reception, and a silent auction. And if you're a business owner, when you purchase a foursome, you'll also receive an AM 560 marketing campaign, which includes 25 one-minute commercials to air on AM 560 Monday through Friday between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. and a free digital marketing analysis. Reserve your foursome today at 560theanswer.com/golf. That's 560theanswer.com/golf. Sponsored in part by Edward Jones Financial Advisor Nolan Webster and by real estate broker Ed Dream at leavingil.com.
Ready for a bathroom upgrade that won't disrupt your life? Jacuzzi Bath Remodel is here to help. Take the stress out of renovations with quick, professional service from the name America trusts. Affordable, stunning selection of tubs and showers, each designed with style, safety, and your budget in mind. With customizable features like grab bars and seats, your new bath or shower will meet your entire family's needs.
I absolutely love my new bathroom. It's very hard to believe that they get it done in one day. Jacuzzi really outdid themselves.
Right now, we're waiving all installation costs, plus offering no interest and no payments for up to 1 year. Call now to schedule your free design consultation and quote. Call 800-486-3395. That's 800-486-3395. 800-486-3395. With purchase and installation, financing through third-party lenders, subject to credit approval. No interest and no payments if paid in full within 12 months. Interest charged from purchase date if not paid in full. Not all will qualify. Call dealer for details.
I'm attorney Stephen Leahy. If you're a business owner with unfiled tax returns, tax season is not your friend. This is when the IRS turns up the heat. They match 1099s. They review payroll filings. They compare bank deposits. And when returns are missing, they don't send you a warning. They take action. Penalties stack up fast. Liens become public. Bank levies can drain your account. I see it every year. Good business owners who waited too long, not because they're crooks, but because they were overwhelmed. Let me be clear, hiding makes it worse. Action makes it fixable. I help business owners get compliant, file what's missing, and negotiate from a position of strength, not fear. Don't wait for the next certified letter. Don't wait for a levy. Go to fightbacknow.com and sign up for my daily email. I'll tell you exactly what to do next, step by step. Or call me right now at 312-664-6649. Act now before the IRS acts first.
And now it's time for the Cat's Corner.
This is John Catsimatidis, the Cat's Corner. Well, I remember the movie Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. What happened? We have too many politicians in Washington that know nothing about business. Why? We need more common sense in Washington. Whether we're talking about the federal government, state government, you need common sense. We need the balance of power in our government. Doctors, lawyers, accountants, professionals, business people, and blue-collar workers. And that's the only way we can come out with common sense. Putting on taxes and regulations without knowledge of what happens. Some of the states are not doing a good job. All they do is raise taxes. And then when they need more money, they tax the taxes. I mean, you got to laugh about it, but it's happening. We need people that have common sense, a balance of power in all our legislative functions to be able to operate our country, our states, our cities more efficiently. This is John Catsimatidis, the Cat's Corner.
AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here. Not exactly letter from a Birmingham jail, more like op-ed from a federal pen. Former House Speaker Mike Madigan and Cranes. Pritzker should say yes to Trump's tax credit for students. You saw the federal tax credit for scholarships, K through 12 scholarships, to give people who are not wealthy or not connected the same opportunities as the wealthy and the connected with respect to their kids' schooling, like we used to have here with the opportunity scholarships from the tax credit here, till Pritzker and Welch and Harmon particular Pritzker and Welch, killed the program. Madigan saying Pritzker should follow suit. You know, you've had two Dem socialist governors opt in, announce they're opting in. Jared Polis in Colorado, Kathy Hochul, of all people, in New York. Pritzker, no. But I got to tell you, this Madigan op-ed, really? Is this we're supposed to take this as him offering some sort of penance for his sins? This is a cynical pardon ploy, Blago style, to ingratiate himself to Trump. Nothing more. And if you don't believe me, then maybe ask yourself this question. What did this lifelong grifter do for school choice while he was the longest serving state house speaker in the history of America? What did he do when he was the state party chairman with supermajorities in both chambers and Dem control of all constitutional offices? Mike Madigan can and should rot in prison. And I bring this to people's attention because some are so easily wooed, like those who think Blagojevich is some sort of Republican, want him to run as a Republican for high office in this state again. Completely have memory hold his tenure as governor and a member of Congress before that, for that matter. Sickening. And Madigan is not singularly responsible, but he bears more responsibility for the destruction of the state of Illinois than just about anybody else because of the power and tenure. And of course, only the anti-business, pro-rent-seeking cartoon of a media outlet, Cranes, would platform this con job. And that's what it is, a con job. So please, if you're susceptible to the Blago-style con, please know that this is just a con. Don't be coming to me and say, oh, but he supports the opting into the tax credit scholarship Trump program. Come on. I mean, I know there's one born every minute, particularly in Illinois, and it's the same ones. But come on. Coming up at 7:37, a new installment of Why Dan Proft is Single. The things happy couples do that I will never. 7:37, now we check that lens with Mike Scott.
Windy 75 degrees this morning in Chicago in the QC Kinetics newsroom. A muggy threat of thunderstorms this afternoon. Memphis police confirmed this morning that the National Civil Rights Museum had to be evacuated over the weekend after a bomb threat. Police sharing new details this morning about one of the suspects connected to a series of shootings in Austin, Texas. We get the very latest from Fox's Todd Pyro.
Austin police confirming to Fox that the third suspect believed to be connected to those 12 shootings across Austin is a 16-year-old male. Police say the investigation began after reports of a stolen vehicle and firearm, but was then expanded to several other incidents where the suspects allegedly stole at least 4 vehicles. The suspects fired shots at homes, pedestrians, apartment complexes, and 2 fire stations, striking at least 4 people and leaving one with critical injuries. Authorities said one of the suspects, a 17-year-old, already had a warrant connected to the theft of a firearm from a store where the 15-year-old allegedly stole another gun the day before. Those 2 were arrested Sunday afternoon.
Fox's Todd Pyro. 1 person killed, 2 others hospitalized after a house explosion in Wonder Lake Sunday night around 7:50 p.m. It happened in the 7400 block of Birch Drive. 2 neighboring homes were also damaged. Crews battled a massive blaze at the vacant Balmoral racetrack in Crete Township Sunday morning. Fire broke out along Dixie Highway. Full extent of damage not determined. Chicago sports, White Sox celebrating a huge series win over the Cubs on the south side. Skipper Will Venable on the 9-8 win.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a good way to characterize it. Really on both sides, both teams on both sides of the ball, just really impressive stuff and a great game to watch.
Edgar Carroll blasted that game-ending 2-run shot in the 10th inning. Sox have now won 7 of 8. Cubs have dropped 6 of 8. Aaron Rice celebrating his first major, a win at the PGA Championship. The news, a service of the AM 560 Advantage, where membership has its privileges, including early access to event tickets, exclusive contest opportunities, and special members-only content. Join today at 560theanswer.com/join. A check of your morning roads comes your way in 2 minutes on AM 560.
It's almost time for AM 560's annual golf outing, presented by Signature Bank. AM 560 is proud to partner with the Tunnel to Towers Foundation as they support America's first responder and military heroes to help America never forget 9/11. It's all happening on Monday, June 15th at McRae Memorial Golf Club in Barrington. Enjoy a full day of golf, meals, an awards reception, and a silent auction. Reserve your foursome today at 560theanswer.com/golf. Sponsored in part by Edward Jones Financial Advisor Nolan Webster and by real estate broker Ed Dring at leavingil.com.
You're probably listening to this in your car, so let me ask you, would you drive without insurance? Of course not. So why is your retirement portfolio unprotected? Gold is portfolio insurance. It helps de-risk your savings when markets get unpredictable. Noble Gold Investments has helped thousands of Americans do exactly that with no high-pressure sales and thousands of 5-star reviews. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals involves risk. Consult with your tax or financial professional before making any investment decisions.
If you're over 65 and struggling with knee pain, Joint Relief Institute offers a guaranteed way to treat it. It's non-surgical and often covered by Medicare and private insurance. It's JRI's Joint Arthritis Treatment, knee lubrication placement that's so accurate it's 100% guaranteed and can relieve your knee and shoulder pain in 10 minutes or less. Book your risk-free consultation today and get back to walking, golfing, pickleball to cycling without pain or medication. Call 708-315-6800. Meet the provider, get an x-ray and joint consultation. Why wait? JRI has treated over 30,000 Chicagoans and performed over 400,000 procedures. You could be next. Over 5,000 5-star Google reviews can't be wrong.
Stop living in pain. Call the Joint Relief Institute today, 708-315-6800, or visit jointreliefinstitute.com. Locations in Glenview, Oak Brook, and Orland Park. That's 708-315-6800 for the Joint Relief Institute. Medicare and most private insurance plans accepted.
You need to be tuning into the Retirement Success Blueprint with Michael Stewart, the radio companion to the Amazon best-selling book, Success Blueprint, How to Build the Retirement You Deserve. Each week, Michael shares strategies designed to help reduce market risk through income-generating investments that can provide steady returns. Because if you can avoid a big loss, you don't need to take big risks. Catch the Retirement Success Blueprint with Michael Stewart, Saturday mornings at 10, right here on AM 560 The Answer.
Amazon Business. With smart business buying, innovative AI tools optimize your purchasing experience paired with delivery options built for business. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
7:36. Let's get an update on the roads this morning in the Team Hochberg Traffic Center. Hanover Park, still delays near downtown right now. Barrington Road, Church Street, Lake, Walnut, and that section of roadway, all four roadways, all shut down due to police activity there. An earlier car fire has been swept out of your way. In northwest Indiana, I-65 southbound between 93rd and 101st. I-80, an accident, eastbound Briggs, between Briggs and Gauger, that's being swept out of your way. DeSable Lakeshore Drive, heavy on the brakes, northbound between the Stevenson and Monroe, and delays on the Kennedy stop and go outbound between Canfield and the airport. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. But first, a check of the forecast in the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center. Cloudy, breezy, humid with a thunderstorm around into the early afternoon and a high near 80.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
Time now for another reason why Dan Proft is single.
All right, gather round. This piece in Forbes magazine, 5 things the happiest couples do on weekends. First of all, the first problem is that there are pieces like this in Forbes that influence women to emasculate their husbands or significant others, to demand they replicate the 5 things that some shrink has suggested the happiest couples do on weekends. There's your first problem, just the surfeit of this type of content. It's oppressive. Speaking both as someone, this guy's name is Mark Travers, Guy. Speaking both as someone who researches relationships and someone living in one, congratulations. I've seen how easily weekends can slip by without finding the time or the means to meaningfully connect with your partner. But I've also learned that it doesn't take much to turn that time into something generally restorative for both people involved. First of all, just characterizing hanging out with your significant other as a restorative event is problematic. It's just so clinical. Anyway, 5 things. You ready? See if you fit the profile and if you also consider yourself part of a happy couple or the happiest of couples. Number 1, carve out quality couple time. Quality time, sure. No tech. Partnered individuals, is that what we're calling them now? Partnered individuals experience a lower work-life balance in comparison to singles, given the maintenance that a partnership demands. What a great insight. So here's what you do. Doesn't need to be extravagant. Doesn't have to be planned out to the minute. What matters is presence. Are you present? In the most profound sense of that word. For some, that might look like chatting together over coffee with no agenda, letting the conversation wander wherever it wants. For others, it's heading out for a walk where silence feels comfortable rather than something to fix. Even a simple dinner out can do the trick, provided that your attention stays on each other. These small, undistracted moments are often exactly what the couples need to decompress and feel close again. Yeah, okay. Yeah, hanging out with your significant other. Great insight. And this is where it starts to go off the rails. Number 2, putting sex on your couple's schedule. Scheduling your sex. Mm-hmm. The weekend. For most couples, the days are stacked with errands, admin, general catching up on life. R&R starts to out-prioritize carnal relations, if I may. For this reason, the unsexy truth is that couples who prioritize, even if it means literally putting it on the calendar, prioritize those relations, will be happier than those who don't. And for those who think this will diminish spontaneity, this shrink argues that it actually takes some of the mental fatigue away from trying to make it happen. Make it intentional. Set the time. Treat it as non-negotiable as you would a deadline at work. The health of your relationship could depend on it. Number 3. Is anybody along for this ride, even at number 2? 312-642-5600, alphawealthgroup.com. Answer line and text line. Engage in parallel play as a couple. After a draining week of work, people want to be left alone. But for couples, it can be hard to choose between me time and we time. So, parallel play. It's a concept derived from child psychology. 2 people engage in their preferred activities separately but alongside each other. Oh boy, the mind wanders and shudders. This could mean one person curls up with a novel or a puzzle while the other unwinds with a video game or a craft project nearby. Could all even be doing the same thing, just separately. How about playing golf? You tee off after me. We're doing the same thing together, but separately. In reality, this two people just coexisting, the nonverbal agreement that every couple has to make sometime, do something together. It's self-care and companionship in tandem, which makes it one of the most excellent ways to recharge without stepping away from the relationship. Okay. You read, I'm going to watch TV and drink. Together, but separate. Number 4, I'm already exhausted, mentally exhausted. Create a couple's ritual. Like a seance, like a sacrifice. When you and your partner know there's a certain moment or tradition waiting for you each weekend, you're offered a sense of steadiness that life rarely gives up easily. Yeah. Ritual. I leave to go to the golf course. That's part of our weekend ritual. And the rituals give partners a way to merge into a shared identity that feels distinct from either person alone. You can find grounding together, whatever that means. Those rituals, what those rituals look like, completely up to you and your partner. Don't shy away from cheesy, though. It could be Saturday morning pancakes, breakfast for dinner on Sunday, board game night, Friday night dancing. And my favorite, the coup de grace, number 5. Laugh on purpose as a couple. What if your significant other is a member of Black Lives Matter and you want to watch the Kevin Hart roast? Are you both going to laugh on? Just like sex, laughter is one of those things we assume should happen naturally, but sometimes it doesn't because the woman's not funny. I get it. It might feel odd to plan something as spontaneous as laughter, but it does work. Playfulness and humor, according to some paper nobody read in 2021, plays an underrated role in relationship health. This often means that the couples who make space for fun are the ones who feel more connected, handle disagreements more smoothly, and avoid falling into repetitive, draining patterns, like scheduling laughing on purpose as a couple, for example. Rick in Downers Grove, you're in Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning. Hey, I would read an article like that, and when I got done, I'd sit it down and go to myself, now I remember why I don't want to get involved in a relationship. And I was like, well, it's like I used to date this one girl. She was nice. We got along. But I'm a gun collector, and I have a motorcycle, or had a motorcycle. But
well, you could have done that. Did you try doing that together, like get a sidecar and a gun rack so you guys could do that activity together?
Tried, didn't work. No, but she had a problem with the guns, and I was like, well, we don't have to talk about them. You don't have to go to any gun shows. You don't have to look at them. We don't do anything. But she had a problem with it. I'm like, well, I'm not getting rid of them. So and that one went away.
Did you ever try to say to compensate for the discord over gun ownership by scheduling time to laugh on purpose as a couple?
No, that would have been the tipping for me.
All right, Rick. Jim in Crown Point.
Yes. Our love language is arguing. They talk about spontaneity, but then if you plan your sex life, you eliminate the spontaneity.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that's by definition, yes. Something planned versus unplanned, yes. Where's the passion?
Right,
Where's the passion? The passion should still be there to take over, right, Jim?
Exactly. And I have a revenge story about a woman. Her husband, Texas billionaire, worth $19 billion. He wanted to divorce her. He wrote her a check for $1 billion. She tore it up and said, "I want half." So that's a cautionary tale.
Thanks for the call, Jim. So many cautionary tales out there. Deb in Lombard.
Hi, Dan Prof.
Yeah. Hello.
This is a first-time caller.
Okay.
So if I'm a little nervous, excuse me.
It's quite all right. I'll be gentle.
I've noticed that. I admire your wordsmithing.
Thank you.
You would play a really good competitive game of golf, I'm sure, just like you do competitive wordsmithing.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm off topic. Sorry
you're
about
off topic.
But
well, can you comment on this topic too? I mean, you have to have some perspective on happy couplehood.
yeah, I was married 42 years.
Did you laugh together?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Did you engage in parallel play as a couple?
No, we were different.
Okay.
I'm a retired veterinarian, and he was a master plumber. As far as medical stuff, he thought his pancreas was a country in South America.
Okay.
And I, of course, I didn't understand the workings of an automobile, or I was just peon labor whenever he said, "Here, dig this hole for my plumbing pipe."
Well,
whatever.
there you go. Digging holes is parallel play. That's something couples can do together. Now, now it's a little dangerous because one could end up in the hole, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I met him. I was working for my boss over an internship in the high Kansas plains, and he was digging a hole for the septic tank to go in for my boss. So we met over a septic tank.
It's so romantic. I mean, I don't know the number of people. I hear that all the time. Couples, big industrial projects like that that deal with plumbing, really. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. You wanted to also say something off topic. Now that you give me so much material, I'll let you go off topic.
Thank you. I want to make everybody aware that May is Lyme Disease Awareness Month.
Okay. So
it is not a happy disease, and it's in everybody's backyard, and the doctors do not want to talk to you about it.
Okay. So don't walk bare feet. Well, don't walk in your bare feet in the backyard. Or front yard.
Oh, well, if you brush against some of the limbs and the deer come and munch on that and leave the tick on the limbs of the tree, so you don't have to be in just grass.
Okay. All right.
So it's a miserable disease, and I've had it for 30 years, and it's not happy.
Oh, really? Okay. All right.
All right.
Well, thank you, Deb. I appreciate that. On both counts. Roger in DeKalb.
Hey, Dan. Yeah, that article's a bunch of garbage. I'm got married really young. We're going to be married 45 years in July. The best thing you can have are shared values. Shared interests don't matter. Me and my wife couldn't be more different. She's a total left brain. She's an accountant. I'm a total right brain all over the highway. We both love kids, hard work. The best advice we ever got from the guy that married us was when we got married at 20 and our son was already a year old. He said, you can't be married to yourself, each other all the time. You have to have interests outside of your marriage. And so from day one, he said, even once a week, go out once a week separate. So my wife, I was always going playing pool on Friday night. She'd have her friends over. The best thing you can do is shared values.
Be
shared
apart.
interests are not the thing.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Spend
all right. And we went out to eat every Friday night, only because that's the way I grew up. But nobody had to tell us that.
Yeah, you didn't have to schedule it. Yeah.
You don't have to schedule. And sex, oh, my God, yeah, good luck scheduling that one and thinking that's a real relationship.
Thanks for the call, Roger. Yes. Yeah. Well, I'm not even going to go there. Text from 763. Dan, you are so obviously not married, 3 children, 2-parent jobs. There's no time to remember you're married, yet don't even pretend you have a partner in this crime. Sadly, you have to make time even for the pretense. Well, you make it sound so attractive, really. Glenn in Orlando.
Sean, I really...
I'm Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm sorry, Dan. I'm sorry. My brain isn't working today.
I'm the non-criminally insane one. That's how you can tell us apart.
In the words of Kamala Harris, which is an expert on the relationships, you can get more things done when you do more things.
It's so true. She could write a relationship column for Forbes. Yeah, she just had this great idea the other day.
Say, look, this is a moment where there are no bad ideas. A no bad idea brainstorm is what I'd like to call it. And in that
There's something you can do as a couple. No bad idea brainstorm, Kamala style.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer. Don't miss In Grace with Pastor Jim Scudder Jr., now heard on Sunday mornings at 7:30. Tune in and find hope as Jim Scudder explores God's Word and His world each Sunday morning right here on AM 560. The Answer.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6745. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6745. That's 800-575-6745. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hello?
Sir, this is Officer Peterson. There's been a string of break-ins in the area, and your office, it was hit.
Hit? What do you mean? We were robbed?
Looks like the back door lock was easily pried open, and they moved through the building like they knew exactly what to take. We see wires everywhere. No computers.
What? No computers? I just upgraded everything.
Looks like they moved fast. We only found out because a neighboring business had their alarm go off. Do you have any security cameras?
No, nothing.
Don't wait until it's too late. Goldilocks protects Chicagoland businesses with custom security solutions. From reinforced commercial doors with keyless entry to cameras and 24/7 monitoring that alerts authorities immediately. Schedule a free on-site assessment at GoldilocksInc.com. Again, that's GoldilocksInc.com. Plus, AM 560 listeners get their first 3 months of monitoring free with a new install. Call 708-889-5600. That's 708-889-5600. Goldilocks, Chicago's premier locksmith doors and security systems company since 1981.
You smell that? Spring. Hibernation's over. It's time to run it. Run it until the grass becomes lawn and the hedges duck and cover. Then, run it again. Still, get up to $50 off select AK battery tool sets. Offer valid for limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
Take the journey of living a happy, successful, and meaningful life through God. Listen to It's Time with Dan Lights, Sunday mornings at 9 on our sister station, AM 1160. Hope for your life. AM 560, The Answer.
All right, more commentary on this 5 things happy couples do business. Steve on the Northwest side.
Hi, Dan. Can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
Hi, Dan. I'm going to be married 55 years in this coming October.
Wow.
We got married real young. We were married when we were 18. And the only suggestion, first of all, I would encourage everyone to get married if they find the right person. I have nothing. I would do it again if I could find the right person again, but I doubt it. But I think that some of the key things for us is be respectful, be polite. We are kind of similar in that we are, politically speaking, on the same page. I can't imagine how someone like Mary Matlin is married to James Carville. I just cannot. I could never live like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just I'm polite to her. I'm respectful to her. Same thing with her. The way she treats me. It's worked for us for 54 plus years. All I can tell you, I would encourage you to do it again.
Do you schedule time to laugh together?
No, we don't.
All right. Just checking.
Believe it or not, it happens. It's a spontaneous thing.
Does it happen? Oh, okay. You don't have to schedule it.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
good.
It happens. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Thanks for the call, Steve. Text from 847 talking about this piece in Forbes that I was reading from. Snark and garbage. What happened to editor? Step 1, reject article. Step 2, fire journalist for not publishing any. Yeah, it wasn't the most weighty piece I've ever come across. I agree. Dave in Geneva is always good for an observation or so. I've got one that combines two on the list: scheduled sex and laughing on purpose. They can go hand in hand, right? The sex, you call that sex, that's laughable. I see where you're going with that. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah. Text from 219. My ex-wife kept wanting to schedule sex on the same day that I rearranged my sock drawer. Hi-yo. Well, means there you go, your ex-wife. So maybe there is some merit to what that shrink in Forbes had to say. But I suspect, generally speaking, no. The whole scheduling thing is very off-putting. It feels forced. It feels contrived. It feels one-dimensional. Yeah, I'm not down with that. All right, coming up at 8:08, some things I am down with. That's talking to Dominic Green, of course, columnist for the Washington Examiner. We'll talk about the Unite the Kingdom rally in the United Kingdom and Keir Starmer's impending political demise. And then about in the 8 o'clock hour, Jeffrey Kane on Trump and Xi, a little bit more on the postmortem on that summit from last week. It's now 8 o'clock on AM 560 WIND Chicago.
Will the ceasefire end? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
The Middle East remains on edge, waiting to see if the war will resume in the days ahead.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv after President Trump warned Iran on Truth Social the clock is ticking and they better move fast or there'll be nothing left of them if they don't work out a deal.
While diplomatic efforts play out, the economic situation in Iran is getting worse each day due to the ongoing U.S. blockade of Iranian ports. CENTCOM says more than 80 commercial vessels have been redirected and 4 were disabled to enforce the blockade. A senior Israeli official told Fox News that early signs are developing of a fuel crisis in Iran, with long lines at gas stations being observed.
We don't have that here, but gas prices have surged more than $1.50 in the conflict. However, AAA's national average for regular $4.51 per gallon is a penny less than a week ago, and oil prices, they're down more than 2% this morning. Luigi Mangione due back in state court this hour ahead of a judge's expected ruling in the murder case against him. Mangione also faces federal charges in the 2024 shooting death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson outside a New York City hotel.
Mangione's lawyers argue that when he was arrested, sitting at that McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania, 5 days after the killing, police there violated his rights. Cops seized his backpack and possessions without a search warrant. They only got one more than 7 hours later.
Fox's Eric Shawn outside the New York court. A gun was found in the backpack along with a journal with Mangione's anti-healthcare writings. 3 juveniles in custody after a series of weekend shootings in Austin, Texas. The last one arrested last night.
At least 2 of the teenagers in custody are suspected of driving around Austin in stolen cars, firing shots at pedestrians, apartment buildings, homes, and 2 fire stations Saturday and Sunday. At least 12 shootings in all. 4 people are wounded, 1 critically.
Fox's Chris Foster. Well, 18 Americans remain in quarantine in the U.S. as a precaution after the hantavirus outbreak on a cruise ship. There's an African Ebola outbreak in the Congo and Uganda. 300 people infected, about 80 deaths. America's listening to Fox News.
8:02 in Chicago, 75 degrees and breezy. A muggy day setting up with a threat of thunderstorms. I'm Mike Scott in our QC Kinetics newsroom. 1 person killed, 2 others hospitalized, all after a house explosion in Wonder Lake on Sunday night. Firefighters were called out around 7:50 in the evening to the 7400 block of Birch Drive for the reported explosion. 2 neighboring homes were damaged by the fire and subsequent damage. All westbound Interstate 290 lanes were shut down for hours after a deadly rollover crash in the western suburbs Sunday evening on the Eisenhower Expressway. Illinois State Police report 1 person pronounced dead on the scene. The Cook County ME's office identified the victim as an 11-year-old. Union workers at BP's Whiting refinery are set to return to the bargaining table today amid a months-long labor dispute. Around 800 workers have been locked out of that facility since March, following unsuccessful talks over a new labor deal. BP maintains the lockout became necessary after months of failed talks. Union members claim the oil company wants to cut 100 jobs and lock down a 6-year contract. White Sox celebrating a huge series win over the Cubs. Edgar Caro blasting a game-ending 2-run shot in the 10th. Southsiders take 2 of 3 in that series. Aaron Rai celebrating his first major, finishing on top of the leaderboard at the PGA Championship. The news service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency, providing high-performing digital solutions. Go to surroundchicago.com today. Time for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Signature Bank.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Higher interest rates and reports of a drone strike near a nuclear power plant in the UAE are keeping stocks under pressure. The 10-year U.S. Treasury yield recently rose as high as 4.63%, the highest level in more than a year. That makes Treasuries more attractive for investors. Gold's price has retreated under the $4,600 mark. United Health Group shares are down 3.5%. Berkshire Hathaway says it has sold many of its smaller stock holdings, including United Health. The founder of Viking River Cruises, Torsten Hagen, says he'll step down as CEO and will transition to executive chairman. He'll remain as chairman of the board of directors. Other executives are moving up to take over the company. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Coselda. Invested in you.
Mike Gallagher shares a scary stat.
74% of Americans, including 91% of Republicans and 70% of independents, say the U.S. is winning against Iran. Do you want to know what percentage of Democrats side with Iran? 40%. Nearly half of Democrats are cheering for Iran. Let that sink in.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She could get a deal. Book telehealth if she feel.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft, but that's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If they find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes in your financial accounts, they'll alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that can make all the difference. Save up to 30% off your first year with the promo code BECK. LifeLock.com, 800-LifeLock, 1-800-LifeLock, or LifeLock.com. Use the promo code BECK at LifeLock.com. So many people are living every day with pain that they just think they're stuck with it. It is what it is, but it doesn't have to be. I want to tell you about a letter I got from Oregon, a guy named George, and his Relief Factor story. George, hardworking guy, spends 10 hours a day in a garbage truck. Tough job, made even tougher because he's dealing with a sore right knee that just wouldn't bend. But here's the amazing part. George started taking Relief Factor, and it changed his life. And he said in his letter to me, and I quote, "I can bend my knee again with very little pain." I can relate to George. There was a time when I wondered if I could continue working because my pain was so bad. If you're living with aches and pains, see how Relief Factor, a daily drug-free supplement, can help you feel and live better every day. Give their 3-week quick start a try, $19.95. A few weeks, even days, you'll feel the difference that Relief Factor can make in your life. You don't have to be stuck living with the pain. Visit ReliefFactor.com, ReliefFactor.com, 800-4-RELIEF. That's 800-4-RELIEF.
8:07, Team Hochberg Traffic Center time, a service of the AM 560 store. T-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands, like Proft University or The Sean Thompson Show. 560theanswer.com/store. An entrance ramp is closed outbound on the Edens due to an accident on the outbound on-ramp from Skokie Road this morning. Things are slow on the Kennedy. Express lanes jammed inbound between Montrose and Ontario. Slowdowns also showing up on the Tri-State. Very slow exit ramp to I-190 to the big airport this morning. And slowdowns on Route 53 northbound between the Ike and Northwest Highway in the construction zone. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. But first, a check of the forecast In the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Today, expect a mix of sun and clouds, becoming overcast. Later on, it will be breezy and humid with a chance of a thunderstorm by early afternoon, possibly bringing hail and strong winds. The high will reach 79. Tonight, the evening will remain breezy with mostly cloudy skies and high humidity. A thunderstorm is expected late at night with a low of 71. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Goldilocks, offering 24/7 security solutions for homes and businesses. Call them today at 708-889-5600.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here. The parallels between the Rededicate 250 rally on the Mall in D.C. and the Unite the Kingdom rally in the U.K. are unmistakable, aren't they? And so was the response from the neo-Marxist set. In America, it was separation of church and state. Oh my gosh, you had the president read a biblical verse from the Oval Office, the horrors of it all, and you had members of his cabinet, the Speaker of the House, talking about America's founding as a Christian nation. Just true. But separation of church and state, Christian theocrats, Christian nationalists. And it's the same thing across the pond there. This was two-tier Keir Starmer's message in advance of the weekend rally.
Tomorrow's march in London is a reminder of what we're up against in the battle of our values. The organisers, including convicted thugs and racists, are peddling hatred and division, plain and simple. Their goal is to convince people that Britain's problems are caused by those living alongside them. But that is not the Britain that I know. This is a country built on decency, fairness and respect. A country that is at its best when people from different backgrounds come together in common purpose.
Oh, you mean like your fellow travelers who did the pro-Palestine counter rally to the Unite the Kingdom rally and offered this as one of their featured chants?
Elsewhere. So they've just said that they want to hang Tommy Robinson and shoot him in the neck like Charlie Kirk. It's getting very aggressive.
Yeah, quite aggressive. Normally does with those mostly peaceful individuals. A Unite the Kingdom rally goer had a different take. It didn't sound like a hate monger to me, but this is the smearing of everybody affiliated with the opposition. All Trump voters are insurrectionists, deplorables.
I'm just sick and tired of the way the country's going, how it's just being run by the government. Keir Starmer doesn't care about us, doesn't care what we want. He's absolutely ruining the country, flooding it with illegal immigration. He's not stopping it.
And it's not just the UK, it's all throughout Western Europe, things continuing to deteriorate, it would seem. For example, I found this commentary quite interesting. There's a German YouTuber who I guess is quite popular. He's got 2 million followers. He goes under the handle Radical Living, and he's leaving Germany. And what you hear from him is not dissimilar from what was said by a lot of those Unite the Kingdom rally goers over the weekend in London.
And once you get children, you also think about where you want to raise them, especially if you have a daughter. I don't think Germany is a good place to raise a daughter anymore, because women in general, they don't feel safe anymore walking down the street at night You don't have to take it from me. There's public petitions in all major German cities. Women want like vouchers for free taxi rides at night. In Berlin, they want to have like women-only subway wagons. And the stories you hear in Berlin, what women have to endure in public transport, it's fucked up. It's fucked up, to be honest. You all know the reasons why it is like that. I don't have to talk about it. But the fact is, women in Germany don't feel safe anymore, for good reason. And deciding to raise a daughter in Germany is just, it's not a good thought to have, you know.
And he went on to also talk about the decline in small things. It's very, very much like you hear people talking about L.A., the clip we played from TMZ's Harvey Levin earlier in the show. The little things. You can see the decline in the small things. You can't go to the supermarket anymore without feeling like you live in a crime-polluted society. Harvey Levin talking about a homeless person taking a boulder to his car. And what's he going to do? Have her arrested? So she turned right back out? Sue her? Judgment proof. For more on all this, pleased to be joined by Dominic Green, columnist for the Washington Examiner, contributor to the Wall Street Journal, and fellow of the Royal Historical Society. Dominic, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hello, Dan.
I just, I guess, UK narrowly before offering a more expansive view and maybe some of the parallels that I was talking about. But, you know, Keir Starmer's days are clearly numbered, right? The reporting is that he's trying to provide an orderly exit stage left.
This is what they're saying. I mean, the problem is this Labour government is so incompetent. They can't even rise getting rid of a failed prime minister. One thing you'll say for the Conservatives, at least they knew how to do it. You know, they went through them at about a rate of one a year before Starmer came in. And Labour are so hopeless, they can't even get it together. And this is like a slow motion failure. And of course, meanwhile, you know, the economy ticks south and the illegal immigrants keep paddling across the English Channel, and you see these vast expressions of public dissatisfaction, which is what the Unite the Kingdom March is. In an ordinary situation, people wouldn't be doing this. They'd be at home. And in fact, there was, you know, the FA Cup final, the biggest soccer match of the year, was on TV on Saturday afternoon. Nevertheless, tens of thousands of people came out and marched through central London to protest about the direction of their country. And I went down, you know, to observe it. And I also observed the Palestine March, which was going on, you know, a few hundred yards away. And it was like looking at two completely different cultures. The Unite the Kingdom March was not, as Keir Starmer said, you know, a far-right or racist rally at all. It was just lots of very friendly, ordinary people, mixed crowd, celebrating what they love about their country and expressing their deep, deep concern about the drift, which has gone on for decades. And then I crossed, you know, the park and caught the back end of the Nakba March, as they called it. And it was just a freak show, really, of weirdos and malcontents and religious fanatics and kind of demented old people with homemade signs, blue-haired students. It really was the two cultures. And as you're saying, this happens across the West now. It's not unique to England or the US. It's happening everywhere. And the vast majority of people, I think, are starting to realize the scale of the problem and are now starting to mobilize. And of course, that is what governments fear far more than a smaller group of extremists.
Well, and it's such an indictment when you hear that German YouTuber say Germany is not a safe place to raise a daughter. And of course, you, as we talked to you about before, I mean, you've done your own exposés about the importation of predators in the UK, sort of the same story.
It is. And as you were saying, it's the small things and they accumulate, a failure of the small things which make a civilized society. And they accumulate to the point that then they can be exploited in big ways. And I think that's what we've got here. And fixing it, therefore, is not a simple thing. You can adopt broken windows. You can bring back serious policing and serious sentencing. Yes, that will make a big difference to restoring some of those small things. But I think, and California is a good example, there is an embedded culture of criminality, of law breaking. parallel society. And breaking that up is going to be extremely difficult, and it's going to require real determination, lots of money, and a willingness, to break the taboos of the multicultural societies that we built and which are now falling apart.
And I mean, the local elections just went just as you predicted, and this is the beginning at the end of Starmer, as you also told us what happened. That's happening, but what is rising to take its place? Obviously, Nigel Farage's group did very well. Is Nigel Farage and sort of the middle way, commonsensical types? Is that what is poised to fill the void?
It does look like that. I mean, they don't have midterms in Britain, so the closest you get to it is this kind of local election. And normally nobody cares because it's just about polls and where we're going to plant the bus stop and local things like that. But this time there was a huge turnout. It was like nationwide 50% voter turnout, which is not far off what you'd get for a presidential election in a slow year in the US. So this was really the equivalent of a midterm. It was a vote, how are they doing and can we change them? And as you said, Nigel Farage and Reform UK did incredibly well across the country, and Labour really collapsed. Their grassroots operation has now collapsed. Now, to get the kind of vote that Farage and Reform UK are getting, you have to be a reasonable person. Everybody on the left talks about, it's the far right, the far right. The far right are like three men and a dog, and they have never, ever won a parliamentary seat. To get those kind of numbers, to be, if there was a general election held tomorrow, Farage's lot would probably have a majority. To get to that, you have to be speaking out of the sensible, reasonable mainstream. People who are looking at basic questions: are my children safe on the streets? Is the school they're in? Is the hospital getting better or worse? Basic stuff. Are the borders secure or not? Are my taxes going up? If so, why? All those questions. The English people are notoriously reasonable and sensible and perhaps too slow to anger in a way. Because, if this was France, they'd have been throwing dead sheep onto the motorways long ago. But,
yeah.
This is a reasonable people who have been driven to the point of exasperation. And now you're seeing them, they're mobilizing and they're willing to take a chance on an unknown with a new party. Because Mr. Farage, for all his talents as a politician, has never been, he wasn't even in Parliament until the last couple of years, and he's never had a governing job. Nevertheless, people have had to gamble everything because it's very clear that the old system is not just broken down, it's sinking everybody with it.
One of the things that we have going on in the United States, as you know, is a bit of a resurgence of religiosity, especially among young men. And of course, it's being decried as Christian nationalism, as I mentioned, and the Rededicate 250 rally was sort of pilloried by the DC press corps as such a thing. But I wonder. I mean, I wouldn't call it a great awakening going on in America, but for some narrow cohorts like younger men, there definitely is an increase in rediscovering or discovering for the first time our faith tradition in this country. And I wonder if there's anything like that with respect to the Church of England, or if you think if there isn't, if that's an essential ingredient to trying to restore the UK to its at least somewhat former glory.
I mean, this is a fascinating question. I mean, obviously, as we know in the US, 56, I believe, signatories of the Declaration of Independence, all of them Christians. One of them was a Catholic, and a few of them were interested in kind of religious philosophy and so on, but basically Christians of one kind or another. It's not up for debate. It just is the historical fact. In Britain, about 100 years earlier, there was the English Civil War and the Revolution. The Civil War was the work of the Puritans, who in many ways are the ancestors of the people who wrote the Declaration of Independence. And the Constitution that came out of it was about keeping a lid on those passions. They used to call it enthusiasm. And so the Church of England is a very lukewarm thing, and now basically it's sort of a bunch of social workers. Mm-hmm. But the popular national sentiment, as in the US, there's this strong cultural sense of Christian values and continuity. And when it's under pressure, people then start to actually have to think, well, who are we and how should we live? And therefore, people start talking explicitly again in terms of Christianity in public life. And as I was saying, this is the origins of the republicanism of the American Revolution and the republicanism of the English Revolution in the 1640s. It is, I know we're all waiting to hear about the UFOs and the little green men from President Trump. He's going to release this stuff, he said. Well, if you do come from Mars and you land in planet Earth and you say, okay, what are these people doing? You will note the obvious fact of the historic continuity of Christianity in the public life in Britain and in America in these various ways, and how they have a common origin and a common political culture. This is just the basics. And again, when people try and demonize these things and sort of deny their even existence, it's usually because they fear the political system. So I think it's a very good thing for people to be aware of who they are and to have a deep sense of where they come from. And yes, everything being online tends to whip things up and make them, very excited and dramatic. The basic historical drift is more like reasserting a normal view of history after decades of liberal experiments.
Dominic Green is a columnist for the Washington Examiner, contributor to the Wall Street Journal, and fellow of the Royal Historical Society. Dominic, thank you as always. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan.
And Dominic joined us on the alphawealthgroup.com answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Let Cole Digital turn your outdoor space into the ultimate entertainment setup. With a 75-inch SunBright outdoor TV that can stay out year-round and great sound throughout. Like planter speakers on the patio, high-quality rock speakers that blend right into your landscape, or bronze garden speakers that blend into the environment. Our technicians will dig a hole and install an in-ground subwoofer for incredible bass and the best in sound quality. We also install outdoor-rated access points for Wi-Fi coverage throughout your yard, and cameras that let you keep an eye on everything with motion-activated recording. Tour our Cole Digital Design Center, 15,000 square feet of audio, video, and great design ideas. Cole Digital is family-owned by conservatives that share your values, and we're based right in Frankfurt. Visit Cole Digital today and schedule your consultation. ColeDigital.com. That's KOLE digital.com. Or call 815-469-2000, and we'll bring the showroom to you. 815-469-2000. Cole Digital, what smart living is all about.
I hereby bequeath the Cara dining table from Penny Mustard to my great-great-great-grandchild.
Really?
Our solid wood furniture lasts for generations, so I'm making sure everything's covered.
Not a bad idea, really.
The Cara table's timeless design will never go out of style.
This concludes my last will and tablement.
The Cara dining table, paired with 4 Rubio chairs, starting at just $152 a month with no interest and no payments till May of 2029. Through May 31st at Penny Mustard.
6 Chicagoland showrooms.
PennyMustard.com.
For months, you've been hearing ads about Virago immune support. I have to tell you, this stuff is for real. I had an occasion to not be feeling well on a remote broadcast. I took it, and it is the real deal. And the stronger your immune system, the stronger your body defends against diseases, viruses, and everything else. That's why Dr. Huber created Virago, a liquid immune booster supplement. You take it daily. It's a blend of 23 nutraceuticals working in synergy to maximize effects and boost your immune system. It's the nutraceutical cocktail for an immune system, antiviral, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant. Virago even protects your heart, your kidneys, your liver, all in a unique liquid supplement for better absorption. Do yourself and your spouse a favor. Order a bottle of Virago today online at myvirago.com. That's myvirago.com. Use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%. Maha and Virago, making America healthy again.
Did you know most remodeling mishaps start before construction even begins? Here's something else you should know. At Forever Remodeling, we do things differently. Every kitchen, bathroom, and basement project starts with smart planning, detailed 3D designs, a clear scope of work, and accurate pricing, all sorted out before you get started. No surprises, no stress, just beautiful results. Done right the first time. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, EVER, remodeling.com. And schedule your free in-home consultation today.
If you're purchasing a new home or refinancing your existing home, you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender.
Suzanne called after hearing me explain discount points on my radio show because her son was purchasing a home in Colorado. I answered Suzanne's questions and encouraged her son to call me for a free consultation. Suzanne was so impressed with the service I provided, she wrote this 5-star Google review. Quote, I sent David an email today with a question about discount points that I heard him talk about on his radio show. And he called me back this evening with a complete explanation. I'm so impressed with his responsiveness and knowledge. Thank you, Suzanne, for the amazing review. I strongly encourage everyone to check out Team Hochberg's close to 600 5-star Google reviews. Team Hochberg helped Suzanne and thousands of radio listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. That's 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. Atlantic Coast Mortgage, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 643114.
AM 560, The Answer.
I got some good news for you. Even the Chicken Littles at the IPCC concede that so-called climate change will not mean the end of humanity. What a concession. The UN-backed Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change has adjusted its modeling framework, the models, of a 4 to 5 degrees Celsius warming by 2100 last month. Right? I mean, they can't, as the old saw goes, they can't predict tomorrow's weather, but they've got the warming numbers for 2100. Sure. Mm-hmm. Well, now they've bootstrapped a description of why their modeling was off a little bit because of the increase in the use of renewables and emissions reductions and the sort of projecting out the technology that will make renewables more attractive as we go forward on this mortal coil. So humanity is not in any peril of dying, at least from that scourge. Even the eco-supremacists concede. And which is great because now we get to go back and revisit the comments of all of these climate experts and the dire predictions they made upon, which was used as the basis for so much misspent money, other people's money, draconian anti-growth policies. I'll give you an example of the kind of guy that I mean. Like Guy McPherson, University of Arizona professor, climate change expert, scientist, man of science.
We are heading for mass extinction. There you go. That's it. End it there. As humans destroy our own habitat. That is the no-holds-barred message from climate change expert Guy McPherson from the University of Arizona. Last time I spoke to you, 2014, and you sort of, snatched any hope of a future from me and my family. It was doom and gloom. Has anything changed since then in your account of things?
Oh, yes. The situation is far worse than it was then.
Okay. Far worse.
Okay. How much time does the human race have?
I can't imagine there will be a human on the planet in 10 years. I suspect it'll be...
No, I'm sorry. Did you say 10 years?
Yes, in my out loud voice even. Yes, I can't... we're headed for a temperature within that span that is at or near the highest temperature experienced on Earth in the last 2 billion years. That's at least an order of magnitude faster than occurred during the Great Dying 252 million years.
But you are suggesting then that the temperature increase will be phenomenal over the next few years.
Oh, yes. Yeah, this is exponential change, and we have difficulty coming to grips with exponential change.
I suppose Professor McPherson, the good professor, the climate change expert, is probably enjoying his pension right now from the University of Arizona at this juncture. That was 10 years ago. So he's got basically, about 6.5 months to exterminate humanity to make that prediction come true. I don't think it's going to happen. I think he may have been, missed it by a lot much in my best Maxwell Smart. So much fun. The experts, the men and women of science. Coming up at 8:38, we're going to talk about, speaking of energy policy, we're going to talk about China and the Trump-Xi summit. More postmortem on that. Jeffrey Kane, author of The Perfect Police State, which is an investigation into China's surveillance system, will join us 8:38. Now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
75 degrees, gusty winds, and a threat of thunderstorms across most of the state today with a high near 80. 2 women were injured in a shooting Sunday night on Chicago's west side. It happened around 8 p.m. in the 100 block of North Mayfield Avenue in the city's Austin neighborhood. Both women are in good condition at Mount Sinai Hospital today. 1 person killed, 2 others hospitalized, all after a house explosion in Wonder Lake Sunday night. Firefighters were called out around 7:50 to the 7400 block of Birch Drive for the reported explosion. 2 neighboring homes were damaged. Stocks are falling. Oil prices have dropped slightly after U.S. President Donald Trump warned Iran that the clock is ticking, as talks over a permanent end to the war seem to be stalling. A drone strike has targeted the UAE's Seoul nuclear power plant. No major damage, and no one, for now, has been blamed. Officials say 4 crew members ejected safely after 2 Navy jets collided during an air show.
All 4 crew members are reported in stable condition after ejecting as their aircrafts erupted into a ball of flames and smoke. No one on the ground was hurt. It was the first time the Gunfighter Skies show had been held in 8 years at Mountain Home Air Force Base after a hang glider pilot died in an accident there in 2018.
Crews battled a massive fire at the vacant Balmoral racetrack in Crete Township Sunday. The fire broke out along Dixie Highway. The full extent of the damage has not yet been determined. Chicago sports, White Sox celebrating a huge series win over the Cubs on the south side, thanks to Edgar Caro blasting a game-ending 2-run home run in the 10th. Southsiders take 2 of 3 in that series. Sox have now won 7 of 8. Aaron Rai celebrating his first major win, winning the PGA Championship by 3 strokes over John Rahm. The news is a service of the AM 560 mobile app. Listen to AM 560 on your smartphone or mobile device. Download the AM 560 mobile app, 560theanswer.com/mobile. A check of the roads comes your way in 2 minutes on AM 560.
Alex Marlowe explains the end goal.
People are starting to finally get the message that I've been bringing to you on this show from day one, which is that so long as Iran intends to pursue nuclear weapons, that is an imminent threat to the United States of America, and we cannot allow for that to happen. We need to lock in the full and total destruction of Iran's nuclear capabilities, and then things will go back to creating the golden era.
The Alex Marlowe Show. Afternoons at 3, right before Sean Thompson at 4 on AM 560. The Answer.
Everywhere you turn, it's plus, plus, plus. But at Hassel's Mattress, nobody has more plus than us. Our 35 beds from the top 5 brands start at $293. Plus, through Monday, get a free adjustable base. Plus, a huge selection of Beautyrest, Sealy Posturepedic, and other big-name brands. Plus, free next-day delivery and setup. Plus, employee-free showrooms. Whew! All these pluses have me feeling nonplussed. Find an employee-free showroom near you at Hasselist.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30-plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic, could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did, they gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-575-8924. 800-575-8924. That's 800-575-8924.
Each morning, the newsmakers and the newsbreakers shaping today's conversation are heard on the AlphaWealthGroup.com answer line on Chicago's Morning Answer. When you need answers about what's happening in your world, you turn to AM 560 The Answer. And when you need answers about how to prepare for and protect your retirement, you turn to the Alpha Wealth Group, now the proud sponsor of the AM 560 Answer line, right here on Chicago's source for news, opinion, and insight. AM 560 The Answer.
It's 8:37. In our Team Hochberg Traffic Center, a service of Discover, when you hear a good idea, it's natural to do a double take. That's what you might do when you hear Discover will automatically double all the cash back you've earned on your credit card at the end of your first year with Cashback Match. Terms, discover.com/credit card. Right now on the Edens, you've got an entrance ramp closed due to an accident. It's outbound on the on-ramp from Skokie. Inbound Kennedy right now, stop-and-go traffic inbound between Montrose and Division. You're slowing up on the Stevenson right now, inbound Harlem to Western. Stop-and-go traffic on DuSable Lakeshore Drive southbound between Irving Park and North Avenue. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but first, a check of the forecast in the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center. Cloudy, breezy, humid, maybe a thunderstorm today. Some of those could be damaging with high winds and some hail, and a high near 80.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here. And, it was all smiles and friendly and complimentary last week between President Trump and Xi. But, of course, that disguises the substantive behavior of both parties, which is to act in furtherance of their respective interests and at odds with the interests of each other. So, for example, Xi said, that we'll have a productive relationship, a productive bilateral relationship, if Taiwan is handled properly. If it is handled properly, the bilateral relationship will enjoy overall stability. Otherwise, the two countries will have clashes and even conflicts, putting the entire relationship in great jeopardy. A little saber-rattling by Xi in the direction of Trump over Taiwan, and yet, oh yes, Xi is a great leader, and we have a great relationship, and we don't want, the last thing we need right now is a war 10,000 miles away. But Taiwan's president yesterday stressing that arms purchases from the U.S. are, quote, the most important deterrent, unquote, of regional conflict and instability. We thank President Trump for his continued support for peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait since his first term, including the continuous increase in the scale and amount of arms sales to Taiwan. So, the backslapping belies policymaking that does not meet with the approval of both parties. I mean, it's the same thing we talked about a bit earlier in the program with Stephen Bucci, the suggestion that Xi made that, well, golly gee, if there's anything I can do to help reopen the Strait of Hormuz, I certainly will do it. And yeah, I certainly agree with you that we don't want the Iranians to have nuclear weapons, but will Xi do anything in furtherance of those two alleged shared interests? Seems doubtful. For more on this topic and related matters, Jeffrey Kane joins us. He's the author of The Perfect Police State, an investigation into China's surveillance dystopia, which Brett Baer, Fox News, got a taste of. And he's also the author of Steve Jobs in Exile, The Untold Story of Next, and the remaking of An American Visionary. That's available tomorrow, May 19th. Jeffrey Kane, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good to be here, Dan.
So what was your postmortem on the momentous summit?
It was an ambiguous summit. It was interesting because most summits you go in and you come away with a trade deal or a sale. In this case with China, it would be selling U.S. soybeans or, airplanes, Boeing airplanes to China. There's always some kind of trade or manufacturing element to these summits. But this summit was an unusual one because it wasn't about any of that. It was really about the energy of the meeting. This was President Xi Jinping's attempt to assert China as an equal, as a great civilization that stands side by side with the United States. That was his goal. He didn't give Trump very much to work with, and neither side really made any concessions, but the goal was for China's internal propaganda for the Chinese Communist Party to show worldwide that it's growing, that it's getting stronger. The idea is just to show that we are equals with the Americans, and they're traveling all the way to Beijing with all these CEOs, this whole entourage of CEOs, and they're going to meet with me now as equals. So China is rising.
Well, yeah, right. Although you can look at it the other way, too, which is you think, just so you know, the world's leading entrepreneurs, they're all part of my posse, FYI. So there's a little bit of show of force from Trump, too, bringing all of those CEOs, starting with Musk, over there. But there was no trade deal, but there was sort of overtures, though. They're going to buy more soybeans. They're going to buy 200 Boeing planes and stuff, but nothing inked. So, what that really materializes into is anybody's guess.
Right, and that's what everybody's asking now. It's not totally clear where this is headed, but the summit does signify, well, what the Chinese side is saying is that it's a reset, that, we're going to have some pragmatic ways going forward. They tend to use this language in their statements, but really, I looked at the things that they put out on the Chinese side, and the way that they see it is, we are going to assert our muscle now against the Americans, and we're going to be here in Beijing. We're going to be here side by side, and we're not going to bend towards them. So it's kind of it's an awkward stalemate. There's not really much going forward right now, and also some people were saying that the war in Iran might be resolved with Chinese diplomatic pressure on Iran. But none of that happened. So it's really a moment now of a reset, and we're going to see what happens next.
How do you think our allies in the Far East, like Japan, received the summit, and what occurred?
They did not receive it well because they felt, I believe, that President Trump was a little too ambiguous on those Taiwan arms sales. Those arms sales are currently on pause, and it's not clear if they're going to go forward. Asian allies hope they do. The Japanese Prime Minister recently invoked the language in Japanese law that would allow Japan to come to the collective self-defense of Taiwan if China were to invade it. But the problem now with that is that they're wondering, is America going to show up and help defend them if it really comes to that? The Japanese Prime Minister saying that is significant because it means she's made a public commitment to defending Taiwan, and now she's going to have to stand by it.
One thing that was mentioned, it hasn't gotten a lot of discussion, but it's I think it's controversial in some circles and probably should be in more, which is this idea that there was a green light given to NVIDIA to sell their chips to a half a dozen identified Chinese firms, which of course are Chinese Communist Party state firms. Per your book on the police state, that is China, and also the AI arms race, should we be green lighting NVIDIA chip sales to the Chinese?
No, absolutely not. That's a terrible idea because the Chinese government is trying to get access to the most advanced AI chips right now. They want to achieve AI supremacy, and their goal is to, dominate with that. So what that means when I say dominate, what it means is they want to build a perfect surveillance state that spreads across China and that they can also export to other countries. Think 1984, that's what they're trying to go for. And the other thing that they want is, Chinese military strength. So they want to be a dominant worldwide power. They've become, over the last decade, far more aggressive in their overseas expansions. There have even been Chinese police stations found in New York City. A mayor in California who is now alleged to be a spy acting on behalf of the Chinese Communist Party. You can see there's aggression here. This is not just normal diplomacy, and we don't want to hand our biggest weapon, which is AI chips, to the Chinese Communist Party at all.
Well, just on the surveillance state, in case people missed it, Brett Baer, of course, from Fox News, went over there with his crew, and he got a first-person taste of it. Take a listen.
Big Brother is watching. There are literally cameras everywhere in Beijing. We are outside the Haidian station, and I can count at least 20 on this corner. In fact, in Beijing, they've added 1,500 cameras just this year alone. They see everything. There's nobody jaywalking here because they could get a ticket right away. In fact, our driver parked illegally for 2 minutes. and he got a message on his phone that he got a ticket for about $40 US because they saw it on the camera. Now, there are real questions what the CCP's goal is about citizen tracking and social scoring. They say it's to make everybody feel safe. These cameras are watching every minute. They're everywhere. And while they're watching us here in China, we hope you continue to watch. Special report from Beijing.
I don't think there's any real question about what the Chinese Communist Party intends with that surveillance state, is there?
There's no question at all. That's the stated goal of the Chinese Communist Party. They want to have a total surveillance state. They want to be able to monitor every square meter, every citizen in the country. They monitor them overseas. In my own reporting, I've been overseas looking at Chinese influence in other countries, and I've run into my fair share of Chinese intelligence agents and people who are watching on local Chinese communities. So yes, the goal is absolutely total surveillance, and we don't want to give sophisticated AI chips to state-linked entities, many of which are actually sanctioned, who are just going to use it to build the surveillance state even further. AI is probably the most powerful tool in human history when it comes to surveillance, and you don't want that in the hands of the Communist Party of a hostile authoritarian nation.
Do you think Trump missed an opportunity to remind the world that the Chinese Communist Party are totalitarian thugs, including Xi, not maybe in those terms, but by just raising the specter of Jimmy Lai and calling for his release?
Well, I think that, that's something that we could even go stronger on, because the level of authoritarianism in China has been getting greater and greater ever since Xi Jinping took power. Xi Jinping is now more than a decade into his reign, almost 15 years now, and his next party Congress is coming up in about 18 months. And what that means is that he's probably going to be reelected in China, reelected by the party, not by the people, because there's no democracy there. And so Xi Jinping is setting himself up to quite possibly become president for life of China. And that's entirely new. I mean, even by Chinese standards, they have not had a president for life in many, more than a century.
What about the reported structural problems, unsurprising given it's centrally planned, of the Chinese Communist Party's economy, including the fact that it is particularly dependent on exports, and the combination of tariffs plus energy supply have exacerbated those structural problems, including inflation in China. Is that what Xi is trying to paper over when he invokes the Thucydides trap and suggests that China is the rising power coming to meet the declining power of America?
That's exactly what he's trying to get at, and there's a reason for that. The reason the Chinese Communist Party holds power is because it convinces its people that it is the source of massive economic growth, that the economic growth that China has witnessed over the last 20 years will continue. The Chinese Communist Party is the steward of that growth. That's what they tell their people in the local news and the local propaganda. And so, if the economy slows, that immediately becomes a headache for Xi Jinping. He's going to have to figure out a way to continue to convince his people that the Chinese Communist Party should continue. And so when problems like, there are falling property prices, there's an aging population now in China due to the one-child policy.
Yeah.
The Chinese economy has a lot of deep-seated structural problems, also high debt levels that are often masked by false accounting and shell companies. The Chinese economy is not as good as we tend to see from the outside because it's such an opaque country and you can't really go in and get reliable data. But Xi is a bit worried about this decline happening for China, and that's one of the reasons why he puts on his strong face against the Americans. The goal is to show both the world, show Chinese allies, and show the Chinese people that we are strong. And when he says we are strong, he's referring to we are a great civilization, a 5,000-year-old civilization. That's the kind of language that he uses with his people. So he's trying to establish that by nature, the Chinese, the civilization of China is old and great, and it will continue in its glory. And the Americans are just here for the time being, but it's a tired and declining empire.
Jeffrey Kane is the author of The Perfect Police State, an investigation into China's surveillance dystopia. Also, new book, Steve Jobs in Exile, The Untold Story of Next and the Remaking of an American Visionary. which is available tomorrow, so pick that up at all the usual spots. Jeffrey Kane, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Great to be here, Dan.
And he joined us on the alphawealthgroup.com answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
When I was feeling the stress of too much credit card debt, I looked at two different options: debt settlement and debt management. They may sound the same, but guess what? They're not. Debt settlement seemed like a quick fix, but I found out it would destroy my credit, create tax headaches, and hit me with huge fees. They actually told me to stop paying my bills. No way, not me. Then I turned to a debt management plan developed by the team at Trinity. They worked with my creditors, lowered my payments, reduced my interest, saved me thousands, and paid off my debt. And Trinity is a Christian company, which is important to me.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Heather. Please forget debt settlement and remember Trinity Debt Management.
1-800-990-6976.
If you're living with joint pain, listen up. I want you to try something different. You don't have to live in pain every day. Have a conversation with my friends at QC Kinetics and tell them I sent you when you do. They offer all-natural regenerative treatments for joint pain. I've seen the results and recommend Dr. Caravelli and her team. Stop saying to yourself, this is just how I am now. That's not okay. Get back to the normal you, the one who is active and carefree. QC Kinetics is helping AM 560 listeners with pain from arthritis or injury in their knees, hips, and shoulders. Now they're moving again, golfing and running, without surgery or long recovery. The science is real. The treatments are natural. Your body knows how to heal. QC Kinetics will show you how without surgery. So don't watch the summer pass you by again, stuck on your couch and afraid to move. Take action today. Schedule an appointment right now. Consultations are free. All you do is call 312-827-6261. Again, the number 312-827-6261. Be pain-free this summer. Call QC Kinetics at 312-827-6261.
Did you know most remodeling mishaps start before construction even begins? Here's something else you should know. At Forever Remodeling, we do things differently. Every kitchen, bathroom, and basement project starts with smart planning, detailed 3D designs, a clear scope of work, and accurate pricing, all sorted out before you get started. No surprises, no stress, just beautiful results. Done right the first time. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, EVER, remodeling.com. And schedule your free in-home consultation today.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank, a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Scott Bartmus, co-founder of ESCO, a security and fire alarm services business and a customer of Signature Bank. We work hard to give our customers peace of mind, so it's nice to know that while we have our customers' backs, partners like Signature Bank have ours. When COVID hit, there was a lot of uncertainty for many businesses, particularly surrounding the PPP loan program, with parameters and deadlines changing constantly. The executives from Signature Bank worked weekends alongside their staff, filling out and submitting applications to ensure they took care of us. That type of dedication is hard to find, but we found it with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Want to learn how Signature Bank can help turn your business vision into reality? Call Signature Bank at 773-467-5600 or visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
This was very clever and poignant. A man on the street angle here. A couple of Israelis pretending to be Palestinians asking New Yorkers to support the resistance, to localize the Intifada, to stop the genocide in Gaza. Mm-hmm. Will you sign up? Oh, sure. And then they showed them images from the October 7th terrorist attack.
Here on the next scene.
Okay, no.
Why? This is the resistance.
Sorry, guys. Could I disturb you 1 second? I'm here with Loyalty, Determination, Strength. We're just doing a quick petition in the park. Our first question is, are you aware of the genocide in Gaza? Which I'm guessing you guys are. Do you guys support the Zionists? No? Do you believe that the resistance against the Zionists is justified? Yes. Okay. We're actually doing a tour around North America. I actually have my colleague, Mohammed, please.
I would shake your hand, but I cannot. Mohammed Shalfish. So I myself have been in the Middle East fighting. I have a quick highlight here.
It's okay, we're okay.
I show you.
Please, we're
So here it starts off. This was on October 7th. So here you have the Zionists, the occupiers. You have them dancing at the park.
Just a warning, it is a big graphic.
They called it a peace party, but
Yeah,
we
but
all
we
know.
know, yeah.
We know
Yeah, we
exactly.
know. We know exactly what-
Cuts, boom, they're hiding in a bomb shelter. Why in a bomb shelter? We have bombs. We show up with guns, we show up with knives, RPGs. In Arabia, it's למה תומכת במחבלים יא מניאקים. And that means assassination with the decapitation. So this man right here, he was already dead. Mahmoud decides why not, he's a Zionist. Shoots him again. We take him to Gaza. We now hold him hostage. That's crazy. You see the porta potties? We didn't even bother opening the doors. We just shoot them. We just spray them. A Zionist here, Zionist here. This dog right here, he was a huge Zionist. A Zionist dog owned by a Zionist family. We killed the dog.
The dog? Not the dog?
You didn't have to kill the dog. Yeah, of course we had to kill the dog. No, you didn't. The dog was not in Gaza. These were all people that were working at the bar at the Nova Festival. We shoot one. We shoot another. This girl right here. So we took her, raped her.
Okay,
beat her.
no.
Why? This is the resistance.
Yeah,
He's a Zionist.
no, actually, we're running late.
But you guys said...
At this point, it's more like a do what you have to do to... Everybody's there to fend for themselves at this point. Everybody in Gaza is just fending for themselves.
That's why we are raping women. That's why we are stabbing. That's why we are blowing up buses with babies on it. You want these up? The Palestinian people.
Yeah, the fashionable views run into the reality, and they're real uncomfortable with it. It was a brilliant little piece of jujitsu of hopefully shaking people into a real-world understanding of what they're promoting. Thanks for joining us on another edition of Chicago's Morning Answer. Back with more wit and wisdom tomorrow. It's now 9 o'clock on AM 560 WIND Chicago.
This is a Fox News alert. A key ruling in the murder case against Luigi Mangione. I'm Dave Anthony. Moments ago, a judge suppresses some of the evidence